Qing slowly withdrew his fingers, his icy gaze sweeping to Hu Yanzhen, who was struggling to rise nearby. His voice was low, but carried the chill of eternal ice, cutting through the crowd. Sect Master Hu Yan, you insulted my disciple. Are you looking for death? Those 8 simple words were laced with a murderous intent that made the blood run cold. When Hu Yanzhen met Qing's stare, it was like plunging into an abyssal glacier. Terror seized him. He did not doubt for a moment that if he showed the slightest further disrespect, this seemingly gentle youth would kill him without hesitation. I was wrong, Hu Yanzhen stammered. Fighting through pain, he scrambled to his feet and bowed deeply, his voice hoarse with fear. This lowly one failed to see my error and offended your eminence's disciple. May your eminence quell his anger. Humph, Qing snorted coldly, spared him no further glance, and turned to Ling Xin and Ling Mo behind him. Let's go. He led the sisters away without looking back, leaving only a crowd of dumbfounded onlookers and a shaken Hu Yanzhen. Rumors spread immediately. Qing, the sect master of the Yin-Yang sect, was a titled duo of unfathomable strength. Forces that had looked down on the Yin-Yang sect were forced to reassess this mysterious new power, and the mood in the upper ranks of Spirit City, especially among the upper 3 sects, grew grim. Night deepened, but Spirit City was far from calm. Lights blazed across every major sect compound as urgent councils convened to discuss the day's upheaval and prepare for tomorrow's matches. Inside the Clear Sky sect compound, in a spacious, quiet room, Sect Master Tang Zhen sat gravely at the head of a table. Before him stood 2 steady-breathing youths, the Clear Sky sect's representatives in the younger generation matches, Tang Lin and Tang Hu. You both saw the performance of the Yin-Yang sect sisters today, Tang Zhen said, voice low and authoritative. Speak your thoughts. Tang Lin, the more meticulous of the 2, answered first. Reporting to Sect Master, Ling Xin and Ling Mao are extremely dangerous opponents. If we only compare spirit power rank and ordinary spirit techniques, our chances look slim. Oh, Tang Zhen raised an eyebrow. Explain. Tang Lin took a breath and laid out his analysis. First, and most troublesome, we still don't know what their spirits are. The unknown means we can't devise effective counters. Second, their physical bodies are abnormally strong. Big sister Ling Xin looks delicate, yet she neutralized the Wind Sword sect disciples' attacks with ease. Her body's resilience far exceeds peers at the same rank. Younger sister Ling Mo is pure brute strength. Her physical power likely rivals a Strength Path Spirit Emperor. Third, they seem to possess an advanced self-created spirit technique or a unique force delivery method. For example, Ling Xin's unpredictable footwork and Ling Mo's way of condensing all power into a single burst. These tactics are outside our normal understanding of spirit masters. In short, if we fight conventionally, we risk falling into a passive trap. Tang Zhen listened, nodding slowly with evident respect, an incisive analysis. He paused, then sharpened his gaze. If I authorize you to use the Clear Sky 9 absolutes, how confident would you be? Tang Lin considered carefully. Sect Master, even with the Clear Sky 9 absolutes, my confidence is still below 70%. What? Tang Hu's eyes widened in disbelief. Brother Lin, you're overstating the enemy and killing our morale. The Clear Sky 9 absolutes is the strongest attack art we have. How could we fail against 2 nameless girls? Tang Hu, Tang Jin snapped, cutting him off. Tang Lin's analysis is grounded in reality. Know yourself and know your enemy, and you will fight 100 battles without disaster. Blind arrogance is the road to death. Silenced and chastised, Tang Hu fell quiet, though indignation still flickered on his face. Tang Zhen turned back to Tang Lin, and after a moment decided, very well. If either of you meets the sisters in later matches, don't obsess over winning. Your primary task is to force out their spirits and their true spirit techniques by any means necessary. Even if you lose, that is acceptable. As long as you expose their secrets and bring back intelligence for our follow-up tactics, it will be a great merit. We can recover points against other opponents. As sect leader, Tang Zhen was thinking long-term. He knew Tang Lin and Tang Hu, though top youths of the sect, had only recently started training in the Clear Sky 9 absolutes and were far from mastery. Against an unknown foe, chasing a single victory would be reckless. Reconnaissance served the greater strategic good. Yes, Sect Master! Tang Lin and Tang Hu answered in unison. Tang Hu still felt unwilling, but he dared not disobey. Across the city, in the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon Clan compound, the atmosphere was entirely different. Clan Chief Yuanzhen sat sullenly at the head of a tense meeting. Before him stood two fierce young men whose bodies crackled faintly with residual lightning, the clan's brightest twin stars of this generation, Yu Xuanzhen and Yu Xuanye. Trash! Yuanzhen slammed his hand on the table with a thunderous crack. A wild sect that popped up out of nowhere scared you this badly? You've utterly disgraced the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon Clan. The twins cringed under his suddenly furious tone, heads bowed, hardly daring to breathe. Listen up, Yuanzhen rose, his voice brooking no dissent. If you meet the Yin-Yang sect sisters on stage, you are not to lose. Use every trump card you possess, no matter the cost. Defend the glory of our Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon Clan, even at the price of grievous injury. Understood? Yes, Clan Chief. Yu Xuanzhen and Yu Xuanye answered loudly, compelled by his resolve. Yet a heavy doubt settled in their hearts. Facing those mysterious and powerful sisters, did they really have any guarantee of victory? Even they could not answer. The second round of the younger generation matches had just ended. On the leaderboard, the upper three sects still dominated the top spots with overwhelming strength. Clear Sky Sect, Seven Treasure Glazed Tile School, and Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon Sect each scored a perfect 8 points from 2 rounds, proving the deep heritage of those long-established powers. Although the Yin-Yang sect had also won both rounds and tied them on points, it remained in fourth. When evaluating a sect, hidden factors, like the number of high-level fighters and overall scale, weighed in, and Yin-Yang still couldn't match the ancient upper three. Even so, their results were enough to draw wide attention. Among the original lower 4 sects, only White Tiger sect managed 2 wins. The other 3 had all lost at least once. Elephant Armored Academy suffered 2 miserable defeats and sat at the bottom. Sectmaster Huyanjin's face had been as dark as the bottom of a pot for days. Inside the Yin-Yang sect's private lounge, the mood was relaxed. Aru was gently massaging Yu Qing's shoulders with practiced soft hands. He closed his eyes in comfort. "A Qing," she murmured. "Do you think any disciple in the upper 3 could force Shiner and Moer to go all out?" Yu Qing thought a moment, then answered, "There definitely are. Clear Sky Sects, Clear Sky 9 Absolutes, and Blue Lightning's Dragon Transformation are ancient, terrifyingly powerful sect arts. If their core disciples have truly mastered them, even Shiner and Moer will have to be careful." "And Seven Treasure Glazed Tile School?" Aru asked. "Their disciples seem a bit weaker." Yu Qing shrugged. "Seven Treasure's system is built around support-type spirits. Their recruits have good aptitudes, but compared to the top offensive spirit systems and the sect-anchoring arts of the first 2, they're weaker in one-on-one combat. Their real strength lies in the powerful support capabilities of the Seven Treasure Glazed Tile Pagoda spirits of their direct disciples. They shine most in team battles." He called the sisters Ling Xin and Ling Mo to his side. "Big brother Yu Qing?" The two chimed in sweet harmony as they arrived. Voices so ingratiating, Yu Qing almost melted. Before he could enjoy the attention, the pressure on his shoulders increased and a faint sourness spread through the air. "Not bad, a Qing." Aru's voice remained gentle but carried a trace of killing intent. "So quickly got Shiner and Moer to start calling you that? Looks like you're quite the capable big brother. Just hope your kidneys can take it." Yu Qing felt a twinge in his lower back, coughed twice, and adopted an exaggeratedly solemn expression. "Ahem, business first, business." He turned to the sisters and spoke gravely. "In the upcoming matches, if you meet disciples from Clear Sky or Seven Treasure, pull back a little." "Huh?" Ling Mao's eyes widened. "Why, big brother Yu Qing? We can obviously win easily." Yu Qing raised 2 fingers. "2 reasons. First, hide our strength. Let opponents think your power is only on par with their core disciples, so we can catch them off guard at a decisive moment later. Second," he smiled helplessly, "give some face to sister-in-law Fengya. Seven Treasure is her maternal family, after all. If we crush her brother's sect too badly, it won't look good." "What about Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon Sect?" Ling Xin asked softly. "Should we ease off on them too?" Yu Qing's mouth curled in disdain. "Blue Lightning? Do as you wish. If they act arrogant and offend you, don't hold back. Beat them as you please. Okay, we understand, big brother Yu Qing, Ling Mo answered happily, batting her lashes. Her sweet big brother Yu Qing stabbed straight at Aru's sore spot. Yu Qing felt a chill and signaled the sisters with his eyes to skedaddle. Quick-witted, Ling Xin and Ling Mo saw the dangerous glint in Aru's narrowed eyes, bolted like startled rabbits, and vanished. What followed was Yu Qing alone enduring Aru's jealous punishment. That night promised another sleepless episode of sore waist and aching back. The next day, when Yu Qing arrived at the spectator seat supported by a row, his floating steps and dark-circled eyes drew many knowing looks. Ling Xin and Ling Mao trailed behind with innocent expressions, avoiding his gaze. The two big brother Yu Qings from the night before had ignited Aru's warlike streak. Yu Qing had been dragged through an all-night yin-yang harmonization training session. A row had even summoned Duan Xin, whose combat power had recently leapt after a breakthrough, to assist. If there hadn't been matches the next day, Yu Qing probably would still be trapped in that tender punishment. Sect Master Yu, what happened to you? Ning Fengji greeted him as usual. Seeing Yu Qing's hollowed-out appearance, curiosity and a bit of gossip showed on his face. Yu Qing's face flushed. He straightened his back and coughed. It's nothing. I was merely discussing the great Tao of yin and yang with my wives last night and expended a bit too much mental energy. Don't let your imagination run wild. That no silver here answer made Ning Fengji flash an understanding smile. I get it. You're young and vigorous, but the Tao is hard. Do take care. Yu Qing rolled his eyes and let the topic drop. Ning Fengji shifted to business. Those two disciples of yours, could their spirits be some sort of mutated body spirit? Oh? Yu Qing raised an eyebrow. Schoolmaster Ning, what makes you say that? It's Uncle Sword's guess, Ning said. That form, neither beastification, nor weaponization, nor elementalization, matches the high-rank body spirit described in the old records. Add their physiques, far beyond others of the same rank. He trailed off, impressed. Yu Qing nodded noncommittally. After all, Ling Xin and Ling Mao were body spirits who'd undergone a second awakening under his care, tempered by countless medicinal baths and special diets. Calling it a mutation wasn't wrong. Just as I thought. Ning Fengji's face lit with admiration. Sect Master Yu, what incredible luck to have accepted such a gifted pair of mutant body spirit sisters. Congratulations. Just good fortune, Yu Qing said modestly. The third round began soon after. Perhaps because of Yu Qing's dazzling performance the day before, every opponent Yin-Yang met today was unusually polite. Several forfeited the moment Ling Xin and Ling Mao stepped on stage, giving them 4 easy points. Bored by the mediocre matches, Yu Qing suppressed a yawn and was about to nap to recover his badly overdrawn energy from last night when a crisp, bell-like cry rang out nearby. Master! Master! I came to see you! A green whirlwind of a petite figure shot through the crowd and hurled herself into Yu Qing's arms, nearly toppling him from his seat. Oof! Yu Qing caught the little bundle and looked down. His first disciple, Dugu Yan. Yan Yan? He ruffled her jade-green hair and feigned scolding. You heartless little imp, so many days go by before you remember your master? I thought you'd forgotten me. Heh, never! She nuzzled him and pouted. Grandpa says Spirit Hall is dangerous and won't let me run around. He keeps me locked in my room all day. I'm dying of boredom. A flustered voice came next. Yan Yan, don't run so fast. You'll fall. Dugubo hurried over, part exasperated, part indulgent. Yu Qing's expression turned stern. Old Poison, this is your fault, he said, pressing the attack. Yan Yan wanted to see me. How can you bar her from coming with the excuse that Spirit Hall is dangerous? With me here, what harm could come to her? Dugubo protested, trying to look tough. You brat, what do you know? Dugubo blustered. She used to cling to you all day. I finally got her back for a few days. Can't I have her company? Yan Yan twisted in Yu Qing's arms and stuck out her tongue at Dugubo. Grandpa, I don't need you. You can go keep Grandma Ya company. Yu Qing burst out laughing. Dugubo's face flushed crimson, and his composure cracked. The cheerful scene froze when an icy voice cut the air. Dugubo, at last I meet you alone. Without Fengye protecting you, who'll save you now? Everyone turned to see Ning Fengji storming over, sword Douluo Chenshin close behind, looking helpless. Ning Fengji seemed ready to swallow Dugubo alive. Dugubo, however, wasn't fazed. He greeted Ning cheerfully. Oh, Schoolmaster Ning, something you need? Ning Fengji pointed angrily. Your sister and I have been getting along splendidly. No need to worry about me every day. You, Ning stammered, seething. Uncle's sword. Look, the shameless old man flings accusations. Chen Xin shook his head at Dugubo. Old poison, your skin's getting thicker. Want this old man to scrape it off with my sword? Scrape it off, Ning Fengji echoed. Scrape it hard. Dugubo merely chuckled and spread his hands in a perfect, dead pig fears no scalding water shrug. Humph, you dare? If you lay a finger on me, Ning began, I'll run straight back and tell Fengya. Dugubo threatened. Say her big brother and Sword Douluo ganged up to bully me. Ning Fengzi and Chen Xin blanched. They knew Fengya's temper all too well. If Dugubo tattled, the consequences would be terrible. Yu Qing bent and whispered to Yan Yan. Yan Yan, go fetch reinforcements. Find Grandma Ya. Otherwise, Grandpa's going to suffer later. Yan Yan nodded, slipped from his arms, and darted off. Master, I'm on it. No, absolutely not. Ning Fengji and Chen Xin cried in horror, both leaping to block her path. Yan Yan, don't. Please don't. Uncle was just joking with your grandpa. Yes, purely joking. Chen Xin added hastily, not wanting Fengya's wrath aimed at them. Watching the two men sweat, Yu Qing and Dugubo exchanged sly, triumphant grins. Chen Xin suddenly remembered something and turned to Yu Qing, curiosity on his face. Sect Master Yu, you've taken Old Poison's granddaughter as your disciple? 143, Domain of Calamity. That's right, the little girl has an extraordinary talent. I took a liking to her and accepted her as my disciple, Yu Qing said, gently stroking Dugu Yan with his right hand. Yu Qing's confession dropped into the room like a boulder in a still lake, sending ripples of surprise through Ning Fengji and Chen Xin. So Sect Master Yu and Old Poison have known each other for a long time? Ning forced himself to ask, keeping his shock in check. Yu Qing smiled faintly and nodded. Yes, you could say we're old friends. Chen Xin's brows furrowed. He looked at the rosy, lively child in Yu Qing's arms, and a trace of doubt crossed his face. I heard Old Poison's granddaughter was born frail and suffers terribly from spirit backlash, he said. But this little girl doesn't look like that at all. Ning Fengji's expression sharpened, his gaze locking onto Yu Qing. Before Yu Qing could answer, Dugubo laughed loudly beside him, pride and gratitude plain on his face. We owe Sect Master Yu a great deal. He cured Yan Yan's congenital weakness and took care of the spirit backlash poison that's tormented me for most of my life. Ning and Chen sucked in cold breaths. The jade phosphor serpent spirit that had plagued the Dugu family was infamous in spirit master circles. Its backlash had ruined brilliant Dugu prodigies for generations. If Yu Qing had truly resolved that, it was nothing short of miraculous. Sect Master Yu, your methods astound us, Ning said, drawing a steadying breath. Beyond his shock, a burning hope shone in his eyes. He hesitated, then could not help asking, could you also help break the limits of my 7-treasure glazed tile pagoda spirit? If you could just add a single layer, give me hope of reaching Spirit Saint, my school would pay any price. Yu Qing's smile faded. Schoolmaster Ning, the restriction on the 7-treasure glazed tile pagoda is in the spirit origin itself. Unless the spirit itself evolves, rising to 8-treasure or even 9-treasure, there's nothing I can do. Ning's face fell at once, disappointment replacing hope. He forced a wry smile. I was foolish to expect such a heaven-defying miracle. I'm sorry to disappoint you, Yu Qing said politely. In truth, he wasn't wholly without options. An immortal herb like the velvet tulip could provoke evolution, but such a treasure was too valuable to reveal to a mere new acquaintance. After that exchange, Ning's attitude warmed and his respect for Yu Qing grew. They drew closer, not friends, but no longer strangers. The 4th round began. The yin-yang sect's pair faced much stronger opponents than before. Ling Xin would face Dai Tianheng, the young leader of the White Tiger sect. Ling Ma would meet Yu Xuanzhen, the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon Clan's top genius. The audience leaned in. Everyone wanted to see whether the Dark Horse Yin-Yang sect could stand against such established elites. On Arena 1, Ling Xin and Dai Tianheng faced each other. Dai was tall and powerfully built, his features severe, his body radiating ferocious killing intent. As a direct bloodline of the White Tiger sect, he ranked among the strongest of the younger generation in the lower 4 sects. He had crushed his 3 previous opponents and was brimming with confidence. Ling Xin of the Yin-Yang sect, Dai said, his gaze sharp and his voice steady. I've watched your matches. You're strong. But I won't fall as easily as Huyanji or Feng Wuhen. Today, I'll see what you're really made of. He attacked immediately, his first spirit ring lit beneath his feet. First spirit ability, White Tiger Protective Barrier. A white aura wrapped him, boosting his defense and speed. Like a bolt of lightning, he tore toward Ling Xin, fist wind howling at her face. He intended to use the White Tiger Spirit's brutal melee power and killing intent to overwhelm her and force a straight fight. Ling Xin didn't dodge or retreat. Her hands, shrouded by the Xuanming battle body, fluttered like butterflies, tracing strange, precise patterns that parried and redirected his blows. For a long stretch, they were evenly matched. Fists and feet flew, spirit power cracking the ground beneath them. Good, Dai Tianheng shouted when he couldn't break her after a flurry, his battle intent flaring. You're formidable, but not enough. Third spirit ability, White Tiger Vajra Transformation. A ferocious aura burst from him. Muscles bulged, black tiger stripes streaked across his skin. His defense, strength, and speed leapt dramatically. Seizing the opening, he closed the distance, his second spirit ring flashing. Second spirit ability, White Tiger Light Wave. A blazing yellow beam barreled from his mouth, destructive and focused, the trademark combo that had never failed him. At the critical instant, however, Ling Xin's figure flickered, and a deep black shield, gleaming like obsidian and rippling with odd patterns, silently rose before her. The White Tiger Light Wave slammed into the black barrier with a dull boom, and the beam that could shatter stone was swallowed whole. Dai's pupils contracted. He'd never seen defense like this. He felt the light wave, brimming with spirit power, being corroded and torn apart the moment it touched the shield. This was no ordinary barrier. You're really something, Dai forced himself to say. Shock only sharpened his resolve. I want to see just how strong you are. Fourth spirit ability, White Tiger Meteor Shower. Star-like white pellets rained down in a wide bombardment, trying to pin Ling Xin in place. His deep black spirit ring flared. Fifth spirit ability, White Tiger Demon God Transformation. A primordial roar shook the arena. Dai's body ballooned into a 3-meter-tall, muscle-racked demon god form. Furious killing intent shot skyward, and for a moment, his strength crested toward Spirit Emperor levels. Double augmentation. Dai was going all out. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Tang Lin of the Clear Sky sect and Yu Xuanzhen held their breath, eyes fixed, hungry to see what hidden card Ling Xin might play. Ling Xin's calm face finally curved into a faint smile. Now this is getting interesting. I can stretch my limbs a bit. As she spoke, 5 radiant spirit rings rose beneath her feet. Yellow, purple, purple, black, black. A 10,000-year ring shining as the 4th? The audience froze. A 10,000-year spirit ring was supposed to require Spirit King level to absorb. How could she have one now? The arena fell into stunned silence that erupted moments later like a volcano. The long-held rule had been broken before their eyes. On the high dais, Qianxunji, who'd been resting with his eyes closed, snapped them open. His gaze, cold and sharp, pinned Ling Xin. A forgotten memory stirred. The great spirit arena of Heaven Do City, the sisters who could absorb spirit rings beyond the limit. This might be them. Teacher? Bibi Dong noticed his reaction and asked softly. Qianxunji inhaled slowly and relayed the old intelligence he'd heard about absorbing spirit rings beyond one's limit. His eyes darkened with a mix of envy and unease. Those sisters probably carry an earth-shaking secret. They could be god trial candidates. Keep a close eye on them. I understand, teacher, Bibi Dong said. When she looked back at Ling Xin, admiration burned hotter in her eyes. Her second spirit, the Death Spider Emperor, had resonated the instant it sensed that 10,000-year 4th ring. A daring thought flared. Perhaps their spirits could truly fuse. She smothered the idea. This wasn't the moment. Ling Xin, unaware of the chaos she'd provoked, regarded the stunned Dai Tianheng. 4th spirit ability, she murmured, as if delivering final judgment. Calamity Domain. Her black 10,000-year ring flared. An indescribable terror burst outward. A solid jade-green dome expanded, engulfing the whole arena. Inside the dome, the light drained into an eerie dark green, thick with dread and absolute stillness. A sickening hiss of corrosion filled the air. The special alloy floor, strong enough to withstand spirit-sane attacks, blackened and crumbled to ash beneath the viridian light. Dai Tianheng screamed. He felt his augmented demon god body being devoured, spirit power, blood, even life force draining away. He tried to pour spirit power into breaking free, but his limbs stuck as if trapped in deep mire. With a final terrible pop, the jade dome burst like a bubble. The stage was a charred, brittle ruin. Dai Tianheng lay at its center like a dried husk, blackened and shriveled, breathing a thread of air. Silence pressed down on the arena. Ling Xin walked slowly to him, knelt and parted her lips. With a sharp inhale, viscous black fluid streamed from Dai's mouth into hers. As she drew it in, his withered body began to refill and color returned, yet he was pale and lifeless, unable even to twitch a finger. The vitality that had been drained was gone. "I declare," the referee shouted, voice cutting through the stunned hush, "the winner of this match, Yin-Yang sect, Ling Xin." After closely examining Dai Tianheng, the White Tiger sect elder finally exhaled in relief. Dai Tianheng's aura was weak, but there were no fatal wounds, only a severe depletion of origin qi that would take a long time to recover. Clearly Ling Xin had held back. If not for her restraint, Dai Tianheng would have been reduced to a puddle of blood by the Calamity Domain. "Thank you for holding back," the White Tiger sect elder said sincerely, bowing deeply to Ling Xin. "The White Tiger sect will remember this debt." He hoisted the unconscious Dai Tianheng onto his shoulder, and in a flash, left the battered arena. Ling Xin only nodded and walked off the stage. What followed was the day's most anticipated match, Lingmo of the Yin-Yang sect versus the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon sect's top young genius, Yu Xuanzhen. The clash had drawn every eye in the arena. After seeing Ling Xin's terrifying Calamity Domain, everyone was desperate to see how powerful her younger sister might be. For the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon sect, one of the upper three sects, the question was whether the continent's greatest beast spirit could be upheld by Arena 2, Ling Mao of the Yin-Yang sect versus Yu Xuanzhen of the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon sect. "Contestants, please take the stage." Before the referee's command had even finished, a blue blur streaked onto the platform like a bolt of lightning. Yu Xuanzhen. He wore a blue combat robe embroidered with dragon motifs, tall and straight, his face cold and hawk-like. Small arcs of electricity danced around him, radiating overwhelming pressure. The instant he stepped up, his gaze fixed on the petite figure approaching from the other side, caution and unease written plainly in his eyes. Ling Xin's earth-shaking display moments earlier weighed heavily on him. "The match begins." At the referee's shout, Yu Xuanzhen struck without hesitation. Facing the unfathomable Yin-Yang sect, he knew he had to seize the initiative. "Roar!" A deep draconic cry tore from his throat as his arms rippled with change. Fine blue scales covered his skin, his fingers extended into savage claws crackling with blinding lightning, his family's dragon transformation. First spirit ability, Thunder Dragon Claw. With a tearing hiss, Yu Xuanzhen shot forward like a streak of lightning, his thunder-wreathed claws aimed straight for Ling Mao's vitals, moving so fast the eye could scarcely follow. Instead of showing fear, Ling Mao's jet-black, jewel-like eyes gleamed with eager battle intent. She did not dodge. Her slight frame sank a little, and a mountain-heavy aura erupted from within her. Her skin shone like molten silver, transforming her into a living battle doll cast of argent metal. Boom! Claw met silver fist with an ear-splitting crash. Lightning and raw physical force crashed together, the shockwave cracking the arena floor. Yu Xuanzhen's expression shifted. His claws, capable of ripping through metal, felt as if they had struck primeval iron, utterly immovable. The recoil numbed his arm. The sheer force behind her blow stunned him. Thoughts of her strength and defense flashed through his mind, but he didn't stop. Footwork flickered, he circled, and unleashed a storm of continuous strikes. Fists, claws, elbows, knees, every part of his body a weapon. Lightning battered her silver body as he hunted for a weakness. Bang after bang, the two traded dozens of blows in an instant, evenly matched. As expected of the continent's #1 beast spirit, Ling Mao thought calmly as she parried. This offensive power is remarkable. She allowed herself a small, confident smile. If I were only using the base silver body, I might actually be pushed hard, but let me show you my true strength. Silver body, full activation. a more terrifying aura erupted like a volcano. Her petite form swelled until she stood 3 meters tall, a towering silver giant. A primordial beast-like killing intent rolled across the arena. Her defense, strength, and speed all surged far beyond their previous limits. Yu Xuanzhen's pupils constricted. The power radiating from her exceeded everything he knew at the Spirit King level. Impossible. In a last-ditch response, he unleashed everything he had. Third spirit ability, Fury of Thunder. His third spirit ring blazed to life, the lightning about him doubling in ferocity and near solidifying, amplifying his destructive force. Second spirit ability, Myriad Thunderbolts. His second ring flared next, and countless arrow-like bolts of lightning screamed toward the Silver Titan. Stacked with dragon transformation and his third ability, the storm of attacks was enough to threaten an ordinary spirit emperor. Boom, boom, boom. Thunderclaps rocked the arena as innumerable lightning strikes pounded Ling Mao's massive silver form, blue light flashing across the stage. Yet everyone watched with mouths agape. Under that onslaught, Ling Mu barely moved. Her silver body seemed to possess a strange property. The violent lightning that struck her vanished as if absorbed into the sea, neutralized without a trace. Not bad, her metallic voice rang clearly through the thunder. Pity, it's useless against me. Yu Xuanzhen's face contorted. A flash of madness sparked behind his eyes. Ha! If that's how it is, fifth spirit ability, Lightning Rampant. A colossal column of lightning, thicker and wilder than anything before, erupted from Yu Xuanzhen's hand like an enraged thunder dragon. It tore through the air toward Ling Mao, the strongest attack he could muster. Now we're talking, Ling Mu murmured. She finally moved, slamming her massive silver foot into the arena. The impact sent a thunderous crash through the platform, spiderweb cracks racing outward. 5 dazzling spirit rings rose beneath her feet. 1 yellow, 2 purple, 2 black. Gasps swept the crowd. Another 10,000-year fourth ring. What kind of monsters are these sisters? The Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon Sect is in real trouble this time. Ling Mu possessed a 10,000-year fourth ring, another shocking revelation that shattered everyone's expectations. She barked, fifth spirit ability, and the deepest black ring flared, imperishable golden armor. Sun-bright golden light burst from her body, coating the Silver Titan in a regal, unassailable shell. She looked like an ancient war god, invincible. The thunderous lightning struck her golden armor and detonated, but the roaring thunder melted away like snow under a blaze, leaving not so much as a singed hair. Impossible! Yu Xuanzhen screamed, despair overtaking him. His strongest attack hadn't even scratched her defense. How could he continue? That all your lightning can do? Ling Mao's metallic voice dripped with contempt. If you have nothing better, concede. Concede? Yu Xuanzhen's lips twisted into a bitter smile. He shook his head, resolve hardening. Never. I will break that defense, for the honor of the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon. He roared like a beast, burning spirit power and life on a reckless gamble. Dragon scales spread across his body, blue lightning raging, but it grew increasingly unstable. His aura spiked, blood began to stream from his eyes, ears, nose, and mouth. It was a ghastly sight. Ling Mao's patience snapped. She smashed her fists together, a massive fourth ring ability ignited. Then let's finish this. Fourth spirit ability, Diamond Burst Annihilation. A primordial roar filled the air as a towering, mountain-solid Diamond Burst bear materialized behind her. With crimson eyes, it slammed its massive paws downward. The arena trembled as if under a quake of the highest magnitude, launching Yu Xuanzhen into the air. Ling Mao closed her hands as if grabbing the very space itself. A gigantic golden bear claw closed around Yu Zhen like a toy. No, he shrieked, crushed by force from all sides. Bones groaned, blood seeped from every pore. The claw tightened and detonated in a storm of razor gold energy that shredded even the barrier. Yu Xuanzhen crashed to the ruined floor like a broken sack, drenched in gore, barely breathing. Yet he still struggled to rise, defiance burning in his eyes. I can't lose. The honor of the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon, he rasped, will not be stained by my hand. His eyes flared with madness. He poured in his spirit's origin, his body warping further into dragon form, a destructive aura billowing outward. He would risk mutual destruction to defend his sect's glory. Thunder Dragon Rush, he roared, becoming a blinding azure dragon of lightning and hurling himself at Ling Mao in a suicidal charge. No, he's going for mutual annihilation, an elder of the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon sect shouted, face white with fear. Stop him. Even if he wins, his spirit will shatter and he'll die. Sect Master, we can't let this happen, another elder pleaded, turning to the Sect Master. He'll die. He's our best hope of reaching titled Douluo. The Sect Master sat cold and unmoved, eyes fixed on the arena. Yuxuanjin cannot lose, he said flatly, his voice devoid of feeling. The boy's life meant nothing beside the sect's honor. The elders' hearts sank. They could only watch helplessly as Yuxuanjin raced toward his doom. 145, Blue Lightning's tragedy. Heh, truly courting death. On the arena, Ling Mao watched the lightning dragon charge at her with a desperate, reckless aura. The last trace of pity in her eyes vanished. She had already spared him 3 chances. He insisted on dying, so he had only himself to blame. Since you're bent on death, I'll grant your wish. Metal Storm. Ling Mu's voice was ice. Before her, countless dazzling golden rays converged, forming tens of thousands of paper-thin blades whose edges flashed with a killing cold. The blades whirled and danced through the air like living things, building a colossal golden tempest that swallowed the arena. Within that storm, a razor sharpness that made souls tremble filled every inch of space. Shred. At her cold command, the metal storm shot forward like an inescapable net and instantly enveloped the lightning dragon, Yuxuanzhen. Screech, a grating chorus of slicing filled the air. The blazing dragon lasted barely 10 breaths under the onslaught before releasing a mournful wail and collapsing in a shower of sparks. When the storm dispersed, Yuxuanzhen's mangled body lay exposed. Countless deep wounds crisscrossed his frame, blood gushing from broken veins and torn flesh, dyeing the arena scarlet. Admit defeat, Ling Mao warned, her voice colder than ever. For Blue Lightning. Yuxuanzhen tried to speak, but Ling Mao gave him no mercy. She clenched both hands toward him. The metal storm constricted and condensed into a gigantic golden maw that opened and swallowed him whole. No, with a despairing scream, Yuxuanzhen, like a broken doll, was spat out by those golden jaws and crashed beneath the arena, completely unconscious. I declare. The referee drew a shaky breath and shouted, winner of this match, Ling Mao of the Yin-Yang sect. The moment his voice fell, the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon sect stands exploded. Several figures rushed down like maddened men and threw themselves beside Yuxuanzhen. The first among them, a middle-aged man who clearly resembled him, was his father, Yu Luomian. Xuanzhen, my son! Yu Luomian lifted his blood-soaked, barely breathing child with a heart-rending cry. He scanned the injuries, then his face went ashen. Rage and grief flared in his eyes. Damn it! Damn it all! He jerked his head up, blood-red eyes locking on Ling Mao as she stepped off the arena. His voice was hoarse. His spirit is shattered. His meridians are severed. Even the 9-heart begonia can't heal this. Xuanzhen, he's completely crippled. You damn little bitch! Yu Luomian lunged like a rabid beast, pointing at Ling Mao and roaring. It was only a spar. Why such viciousness? Today, don't even dream of leaving here unscathed. Ling Mao gave a frosty laugh, looking at the frantic father as if watching a clown. I gave him 3 chances, she said coolly. He didn't know when to yield and chose to die. Who's to blame? So what if he did? Yu Luomian's reason snapped under the anguish of a son effectively dead in all but name. He would be avenged. Without regard for the fact this was Spirit Hall territory, or for the vast gap in their strength, he raised his palm and began to condense violent lightning, preparing to strike Ling Mu. Insolence! At that critical instant, an icy, majestic voice crashed like thunder. A figure in bright yellow, regal robes, Chrysanthemum Douluo Yueguan, Spirit Hall Elder, appeared between Yu Luomian and Ling Mo like a ghost. This is Spirit Hall! Yueguan stared at Yu Luomian, voice as cold as abyssal ice. If you want to behave like a savage, go back to your Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon sect. Do not act wildly in my domain. Chrysanthemum Douluo! Yu Luomian's face changed when he saw Yueguan, but his fury did not abate. Grinding his teeth, he jabbed a finger at Ling Mao. But she crippled my son. That was a ring match. Each bears his own fate. Yueguan cut him off without courtesy. Blame your son's poor training and his inability to yield. Or blame your sect master. Yueguan's gaze slid toward the high platform where Yuanzhen still sat expressionless. Yu Luomian choked on the words, almost fainting. He glared at Ling Mu with venom. Fine, Fine, just wait, you little wretch. Pray you never run into me alone, or I'll make you wish you were dead. Oh. As Uluomian snarled and prepared to leave with his son, a languid voice laced with icy killing intent sounded from the side. Whom do you plan to make wish they were dead? A pink-clad figure stood beside Lingmao now. Aru. Her jewel-bright pink eyes regarded Uluomian with cold indifference, as if looking at a corpse. The unfathomable depth of her aura made Uluomian's face change again, and cold sweat broke out along his spine. He forced himself to speak. She ruined my son. I'll make her pay the price. Ch! Yueguan laughed under his breath and gave Uluomian a wry thumbs up. Uluomian, I have to say, you may not have the strength of a titled Douluo, but you've got more guts than most titled Doulos. Impressive. He had personally felt Aru's power. The delicate woman in pink was a genuine super Douluo, far above rank 95. For a spirit Douluo to threaten to cripple her disciple in front of her was like inviting death. Uluomian suddenly realized how foolish he'd been. He had just threatened 2 titled Douluos and 1 super Douluo. Cold sweat soaked his back. Remember your words today, Aru said flatly, not moving. Her tone was calm, but the murderous chill beneath it made Uluomian feel as if he'd been dropped into an ice cave. He had no doubt she would follow through. One day, this seat will come to visit you. Flower butt, Aru turned from the ashen Uluomian and addressed Yueguan. Hearing the nickname, Yueguan's handsome face darkened. Your Excellency, he said helplessly, could you skip that name? We've known each other long enough. At least give me some face in public. Same thing. Aru waved dismissively. Right, you're not testing people like last time, are you? Yueguan's mouth twitched. No, he hurriedly shook his head. Absolutely not. He remembered how Aru had once sparred him into near immobility and felt a phantom ache in his lower back. He had no desire for a repeat. Your Excellency, I have matters to attend to. He turned into a streak of yellow and fled like a startled hare, vanishing faster than he'd arrived. Aru watched him go with a small smile, then took Lingmao's hand and walked back toward the Yin-Yang sect stands. When they returned, Yu Qing and Yu Yuanzhen in the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon sect stands were staring across the arena at each other. Their gazes clashed like invisible sparks. A tense, oppressive aura simmered between the two leaders. Everything that had happened on the stage had set these two top powers directly against one another. A fiercer storm was quietly gathering. 146, Core Disciple Bureau. Heh! Yu Qing tore his gaze away from Yu Yuanzhen, a sneer curling one corner of his mouth. That old dragon wants a lesson. Are you going to cripple him in the sect master match? Aru asked softly, curiosity flickering in her pink eyes. How could I? Yu Qing laughed, shaking his head. Do I look like someone who acts without reason? To cripple the master of one of the upper 3 sects in public would force Spirit Hall and the other 2 great sects to unite against them. He wasn't about to do anything stupid or thankless. His eyes slid toward the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon sect in the distance, a cold light flashing. Better than crippling him, he said. I'll tear the pride of his precious Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon to shreds right in front of him. When the 4th round of the younger generation matches ended, only 3 powers still had perfect records. Clear Sky Sect, 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School, and Yin-Yang Sect. The result sent waves through the crowd. The Dark Horse Yin-Yang Sect had actually pulled level with the 2 veteran upper sects, an upset to the old order. Even more striking, the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon Sect, long secure in 3rd place, had fallen to 5th after Yu Yuanzhen's crushing defeat, while White Tiger sect of the lower 4 took 4th. For a sect that lived and breathed honor, the disgrace was unbearable. Ha! In White Tiger's camp, the sect master slapped his thigh and laughed aloud. That old dragon must be foaming at the mouth. Couldn't happen to a nicer fellow, someone crowed. At 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School, Ning Fengxi shook his head with a knowing smile. Tsk, the old dragon really stepped in it this time. He never knows when to yield, insists on having things his way. Clear Sky's sect master Tangzhen glanced toward the rigid statue of a man in the Blue Lightning camp and sighed. Wasted an excellent disciple for nothing. Yu Yuanzhen's stubbornness will drag the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon sect into the abyss, Tangzhen said, feeling a mix of pity and relief. pity for his rival's folly, and relief that he himself was not such a sect master. After a day's rest, the final round of the younger generation matches began. To everyone's surprise, Ling Xin and Ling Mu did not face top talents from Clear Sky or Seven Treasure. Their opponents were only mid-level spirit ancestors from lesser schools. The sisters didn't even have to step onto the stage. Their rivals forfeited, granting them walkover victories. Tang Lin and Tang Hu of Clear Sky, along with 2 disciples from Seven Treasure, all won their matches. Tang Hu once again, luckily, drew the miserable Elephant Armored Academy and dispatched them with ease. The perfect records remained intact. When the dust settled, the younger generation standings were finalized. Clear Sky Sect and Yin Yang Sect shared first place with 20 points each. Seven Treasure took third with 18. The biggest shock was fourth, White Tiger with 16 points. The former Titan, Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon Sect, had crashed to fifth with 14. Blue Lightning actually dropped to fifth. White Tiger can finally hold its head high. Yin Yang is incredible, tied for first with Clear Sky. Yu Yuanzhen must be going mad. An uproar swept the arena. The old top 3 order was broken, and the Dark Horse Yin Yang sect had announced its rise across the Spirit Master world. Everyone, an elder of Spirit Hall announced, the younger generation round is finished. Return to your rest areas for 3 days. In 3 days, the core disciple round begins. On the way back, Yu Qing and Ning Fengji chatted and laughed, the mood easy. Even stern Tang Zhen broke custom to seek Yu Qing out and exchange a few polite words, showing new regard for Yin Yang sect's strength. The contrast with the Blue Lightning procession was stark. Sect Master Yuanjin's face was so dark it seemed to drip water, the suffocating pressure silencing every elder and disciple behind him. Everyone knew a clash between Yu Qing and Yuanjin was inevitable. Sect Master Yu, Ning Fengji asked, watching Yu Qing's calm expression, are you truly confident against Yuanjin? He's a level 95 attack system, titled Douluo. After dragon transformation, he's comparable to level 96, Ning said. If it's not a fight to the death, Yu Qing replied, unperturbed, I have a 70% chance of defeating him. Oh, Sword Douluo Chenxin's eyes flickered. Yuanjin's spirit power is level 95, and after dragon transformation, he can fight at level 96. Could your own spirit power already be level 96? Lower, much lower. Yu Qing shook his head, a cryptic smile on his lips. Chenxin's pupils constricted, and he drew a sharp breath. Surely, you've reached level 97? Level 97, such beings were rare across the Douluo Continent. If Yu Qing had truly stepped into that realm, his strength could rival Spirit Hall's consecrated elders, and even Tang Zhen might be at risk. A fierce battle intent flared from Chenxin. His sword-like gaze drilled into Yu Qing. Good, 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 Chenxin said, the hunger for a duel in his voice. Only an opponent like you is worth my full blade. Sensing Chenxin's soaring sword intent, Yu Qing laughed too. Their gazes locked, each recognizing in the other the hunger for a peak duel, and together they broke into bright, pure smiles, mutual respect only true experts could share. 147. Bibi Dong undergoes divine testing. The 3-day rest passed in the blink of an eye, and the core disciple rounds began as scheduled. This time, Yu Qing brought the sisters Shu Wei and Shu Wuxiang. Although the arena looked no different at a glance, anyone paying attention could sense that the spirit power barrier had been reinforced, several times stronger than the one used for the younger generation bouts, clearly prepared to withstand Spirit Emperor-level combat. To many sects that had watched or participated in the last Grand Advanced Spirit Master tournament, the Shui sisters were familiar. Representing Skywater Academy, they had once been celebrated as prodigies. Well now, Sect Master Yu, Ning Fengji exclaimed when he saw the 2 contrasting beauties beside Yu Qing. I never imagined the Shui family's pearls would fall into your hands, truly impressive. His praise was wrapped in envy. The Yin-Yang sect's talent-harvesting ability had a fearsome reputation. Schoolmaster Ning flatters us, Yu Qing replied with a helpless smile and a wave. It took no small persuasion. He spoke the truth in form, if not in the whole of it. Convincing the sisters had cost him far more than social niceties, especially on certain deep, silent nights when his so-called in-depth communication left both souls and bodies exhausted, details no outsider would ever know. After a few more pleasantries, the core disciple matchups officially began. The huge central display hummed and the numbers whirled, finally freezing on several pairings. Contestant 159 versus 171, 178 versus 1666. Shui Wuwei and Shui Wuxiang each faced a spirit king from mid-tier sects. Unlike the dazzling, crushing dominance of Ling Xin and Ling Mao, the Shui sisters' showings were steady and expected. Their spirit rings, yellow, yellow, purple, purple, black, black, reflected tactics and strength squarely within expectations for Spirit Emperor prodigies. They won, but their victories caused no uproar. What stunned everyone, however, was that both sisters had already reached Spirit Emperor rank. "I remember," an elder from a great sect muttered, stroking his beard in disbelief. 7 years ago, after the tournament, they were only high-rank spirit ancestors. "How did they leap to Spirit Emperor in just 7 years?" another elder echoed. "That speed is terrifying." "Could it be the yin-yang sect?" someone suggested. "Do they possess a secret art that accelerates cultivation?" "Very likely." Heads nodded. Covetous glances turned toward the yin-yang sect. If such a method existed, no sect could resist it. While the cliques and clans buzzed about cultivation shortcuts, the Spirit Hall elders and Supreme Pontiff Qianshunji on the high dais fixed on a more shocking detail. Their spirits, a cardinal squinted at Shui Wuwei as she stood on the platform, seemed different from before. Indeed, another elder agreed. Still water and ice attribute avians, but their forms, there are hints of the phoenix martial soul. "Exactly," a third elder said. "The Shui have always coveted the top phoenix martial soul, yet as far as I know, none has ever manifested it. Could the yin-yang sect have a way to evolve spirits?" The idea struck like a boulder into a dead calm, sending shockwaves through Spirit Hall's leadership. Spirit evolution was a far greater transgression than mere cultivation acceleration. "I heard from Elder Chrysanthemum," Nebuth, a younger elder offered, "that certain mythical herbs can transform or even evolve a spirit. Maybe the yin-yang sect used such herbs on the sisters." Senior elders exchanged grave looks, then nodded. "Possible, and highly probable. If true, the yin-yang sect's capabilities far exceeded previous estimates." At the front of the dais, Qianshunji turned toward Bibi Dong and asked softly, "Donger, what is your assessment of the yin-yang sect?" Bibi Dong watched the arena, worry faint on her face, very strong and very mysterious. If they truly command a method to evolve spirits, then one day they may well supplant our Spirit Hall. She spoke the threat aloud, but inwardly she thought, "I only wish you'd hurry and destroy Spirit Hall." Even as she judged them, a seductive, corrupting whisper slid into her heart, circling like a viper. "Devour an angelic clansman and open the Rakshasa god trial. This god can grant you the power to annihilate Spirit Hall." The promise carried uncanny allure. Bibi Dong clenched her fists until her nails bit her palms, using pain to smother the dark desire rising inside her. Her eyes drifted involuntarily to Qianshunji beside her, the man who had once been like a father and mentor, yet who had committed unspeakable acts against her in a secret chamber. Memories flashed, cold and vivid. Her eyes grew colder, deeper. The recurring image of Qianshunji in that chamber had always struck at her like a poisoned blade. Torn between retribution and restraint, she felt the temptation of the god trial tug at her resolve. At last, speaking only to herself, she made her decision. "Very well, I accept the god trial." Those few words seemed to drain her strength. Like chains of fate, they dragged her down into a boundless abyss of darkness. 148. A fierce battle between water and fire. Excellent. The oracle's seductive, bewitching voice faded in Bibi Dong's mind, leaving only a cold command. "This god will never let you regret today's choice. Devour an angel clansman as soon as possible and begin your god trial." A trace of dark light flashed and vanished in Bibi Dong's deep violet eyes. Her gaze flicked involuntarily to Qianshunji standing beside her. Emotions roiled there she couldn't name. Bone-deep hatred, an admitted fear, and above all, a desperate resolve that allowed no retreat. It was over as quickly as it came. She composed herself, smoothing her expression until she was once more regal, aloof, and unflappable, as if nothing had happened. The core disciple matches continued. Compared to Ling Xin and Ling Mao's earth-shattering, crowd-crushing entrance, Shu Wuwei and Shu Wuxiang's first 2 rounds had seemed almost ordinary. Relying on their spirit emperor rank and superior spirit quality, they had won in steady, reliable fashion, impressive but not jaw-dropping. When the third round draw was announced, however, the arena's atmosphere shifted palpably. Shui Wuyue would face Huo Xinli, the young leader of the Fire Leopard sect. Shui Wuxiang would face Feng Zhuoqing, a core disciple of the Wind Sword sect. Both men were spirit emperors and celebrated geniuses in their sects. Their ranks and spirits were on par with the Shui sisters. These would be two grueling, evenly matched battles that would truly test how far the sisters had come since joining the Yin-Yang sect. On Arena 1, Shui Wuyue and Huo Xinli faced each other, one wreathed in gentle mist, serene and graceful, the other radiating heat, eyes burning. Water and fire, inherently opposed, filled the duel with tension from the outset. "Shuiwei," Huo Xinli said, eyes fixed on the gentle girl before him. "Please advise me." "Huo Xinli." Shui Wuyue inclined her head, voice like a clear spring. "Please advise me. I won't go easy, just because you're a woman." Huo Xinli barked, spirit rings flashing beneath his feet. Third spirit ability, Blazing Charge. Boom! He became a living inferno and charged at Shui Wuyue with unstoppable momentum. The searing heat warped the air. He knew her style well. He had studied Skywater Academy's tactics and members in detail. Against her control and attrition approach, he had a plan. Use the explosive power of his fire spirit to seize the initiative and break her rhythm. Second spirit ability, Water Screen Heavenly Bloom. Shui Wuyue remained unhurried. Her second spirit ring shimmered and a curtain of cascading blue light unfurled before her. Hissing steam erupted as flame met water, and a cloud of vapor swallowed the arena. Perfect, Huo Xinli thought. The mist would hardly impede a spirit emperor's senses, but it would ruin the precise control her water techniques required. He pressed forward, feeling heat fluctuations and launching a tempest of attacks. Fourth spirit ability, Exploding Fireball. First spirit ability, Fire Leopard Claw. Fifth spirit ability, Meteor Rain of Fire. Flames roared, steam swirled. Blazing strikes and agile water skills clashed and annihilated one another in thunderous booms. The two fighters darted through the water and fire domain, evading and countering at lightning speed. The battle burned white-hot from the start. Huo Xinli's strategy seemed to work. Under his relentless, spirit-draining barrage, Shui Wuyue appeared forced into constant defense and evasions, struggling to keep up. Humph, he exulted inwardly. Just as the reports said, her strength is control and endurance. As long as I deny her breathing room, victory is mine. Yet as the fight wore on, Huo Xinli began to sense something wrong. He had lost count of how many times he'd unleashed powerful offensive spirit abilities, especially his fifth, Meteor Rain of Fire. A wide-area, high-consumption move, he'd used it at least 3 times. By any logic, even a spirit emperor spamming such high-level abilities should have burned through the bulk of his spirit power. Yet Shui Wuyue across from him looked untouched. She still deflected and dodged every strike with pinpoint precision, occasionally launching potent counters of her own. Most unnerving was her bizarre fifth spirit ability, Water Tornado. She had cast it no fewer than 10 times, utterly shattering his expectations of spirit power consumption. How is this possible? The longer the fight dragged on, the more alarmed he became. He could feel his spirit power draining at breakneck speed, nearly 70% gone. Yet Shui Wuyue's breathing remained steady, her spirit power showing no sign of weakening. Is her spirit power limitless? No, I can't keep this up. Panic crept in. If the war of attrition continued, he would be the first to fall. I have to finish this, now. Sixth spirit ability, Crimson Flame Blitz. Clenching his teeth, Huo Xinli stamped down. His deepest black spirit ring flared as he played his ultimate trump card in one last gamble. A low leopard roar burst from his throat. Instantly, he merged with his spirit, transforming into a scarlet fire leopard wreathed in searing heat. At a speed the eye could barely track, it tore through the air and lunged at Shui Wuyue, warping the space it crossed. That single strike contained every ounce of his essence, energy, and spirit power, enough to gravely wound an ordinary spirit saint. Here it comes. Watching the fiery leopard cut toward her like a meteor, excitement flickered in Shui Wuye's eyes. Her own pitch-black sixth spirit ring lit up at the same moment. Sixth spirit ability, Sapphire Water Mirror. A titanic, sapphire-like mirror of crystalline water materialized before her, its surface rippling and reflecting Huo Xinli's savage form as if some unfathomable force lay within. Whoosh! Just as the crimson leopard was about to crash into the mirror, the surface erupted in violent ripples, and a blue water leopard, identical in size, bearing, and even aura to Huo Xinli, leapt out in utter silence, roaring mute as it slammed head-on into him. That's a mirror counter. She actually copied her opponent's spirit ability. Gasps exploded through the stands. Boom, boom, boom. In the next instant, the Scarlet Fire Leopard and the Azure Water Leopard collided with earth-shaking force. Fire and water, two polar energies, devoured each other, producing a wildly unstable reaction. A colossal sphere over 10 meters across swallowed the arena. Inside it, half was boiling flame, half frigid water. The extremes churned and clashed, radiating a terrifying aura of destruction. Boom! A full minute later, the unstable orb groaned and burst like a blister, scattering searing, corrosive droplets that pattered onto the specially forged stage and ate holes of varying depth into its surface. As the mist cleared, the scene came into view. Shui Wuiwei still stood gracefully at the center, breathing only slightly ragged but clearly unharmed. Her opponent, Huo Xinli, lay a short distance away, charred black yet drenched, as if roasted and then plunged into seawater, utterly unconscious. The referee drew in the acrid, briny air and shouted, "Winner of this match, Shui Wuiwei of the Yin-Yang sect." Immediately, a healing-type spirit master appointed by the Spirit Hall rushed onto the stage to treat the unconscious Huo Xinli. Though his injuries were severe, timely care would prevent them from affecting his later matches. 149. Icewind Nirvana on Arena 2, the duel between Shui Wuxiang and Feng Zhuoqing had reached its turning point. Unlike her younger sister Shui Wuiwei, who favored drawn-out mimicry-based tactics, Shui Wuxiang's spirit had evolved into something tyrannically ice-attributed. Fourth spirit ability, Frozen Domain. The instant she stepped onto the stage, she released her domain. A bone-deep cold burst outward, coating the arena in thick ice almost as fast as you could see. Even the air seemed to freeze. The temperature plunged so sharply that Feng Zhuoqing, not far away, involuntarily shivered. This chill was terrifying. Feng Zhuoqing's expression darkened as he felt his speed and spirit circulation constrict. I can't let her take full control of this domain, he thought. Fourth spirit ability, One Sword Wind Kill. His fourth spirit ring flared. The wind sword in his hand burned with cyan light as a condensed gale blade, carrying devastating speed and penetration, slashed towards Shui Wuxiang like a streak of azure lightning tearing the sky. Where it passed, space itself seemed to scream. A single strike powerful enough to cleave a hill in two. Shui Wuxiang remained calm. She raised her right hand and, with a light motion, closed her fingers toward the onrushing wind blade. Seal, she murmured. The icy syllable froze the blade mere meters away. A thick crust of frost crept over its surface. With a crisp crack, it shattered like glass, scattering glittering frost that dissolved into nothing. Even a spirit ability could be frozen? The crowd gasped. What sort of monstrous ice attribute was this? Feng Zhuoqing went pale. One of his strongest attacks had been dispelled so casually. He clenched his teeth. No choice. Go all out. He ignited the next two rings. Fifth spirit ability, Wind's Extremity, Meteor Kill. Sixth spirit ability, Tempest Annihilation Slash. A far larger cyan wind blade formed, accompanied by a storm of countless tiny blades, and they ripped toward Shui Wuxiang with a force that brushed beyond Spirit Emperor levels. Shui Wuxiang watched the onslaught and gently shook her head. Her deepest black spirit ring flared at last. Sixth spirit ability, Nirvana Ice Cocoon. A clear phoenix cry rang out as a colossal ice phoenix phantom rose behind her. The phoenix unfolded wings of perfect ice, enveloping Shui Wuxiang in an egg-like cocoon whose surface shimmered with intricate ice-blue patterns and radiated an unbearable cold. Boom, boom. The twin assaults smashed against the cocoon with deafening roars, yet the shell did not budge. The tempest of blades froze the instant they touched its surface, slowed by that same sinister chill, then crackled and shattered into countless shards that clattered harmlessly to the floor. Impossible. Feng Zhuoqing despaired. His strongest blows hadn't even cracked her defense. But Shui Wuxiang wasn't finished. Nirvana burst. Her voice cut through the icy air. The cocoon erupted in blinding ice-blue light and, with an even louder explosion, blasted apart into a terrifying storm of razor ice. Countless shards swept the arena and fell upon the spent, stunned Fengzhuo king. "No!" was all he managed to scream before the ice tempest swallowed him. When the storm finally subsided 10 breaths later, Shui Wuxiang stood alone, proud and cold. Where Fengzhuo Qing had stood was now a lifelike ice statue, his face frozen in horror. Without looking at the sculpture, she addressed the still-stunned referee. "Announce it. He was struck by my frost storm. He has 30 breaths before the cold kills him." The referee snapped awake and shouted, "The winner, Shui Wuxiang of the Yin-Yang sect." Only then did Shui Wuxiang step forward, place her hand on the statue, and slowly draw the invasive chill back out. The ice melted rapidly, revealing Fengzhuo Qing's livid, terror-struck face. As soon as he could move, he collapsed, shaking violently. "See cold, so cold," he managed. The Windsword sect elder, alarmed and furious, had no choice but to summon fire-attributed spirit masters to treat the frostbite. Meanwhile, Shui Wuyue, delighted, flitted over to Yu Qing the moment the match ended and slipped her arm through his. "Husband," she cooed. "Tonight you'll reward us, won't you?" she asked, eyes bright. Yu Qing smiled at her mischievous look. "And what reward would you like?" She stood on tiptoe and breathed in his ear. "Special. Harmonization, of course." Blushing, she darted off and caught up with her sister just outside the arena. A whisper here, a nod there. Soon even the normally cool Shui Wuxiang wore a faint flush, and she gave Yu Qing a shy look of assent. That night, Yu Qing received double delight, rewarded by the Shui sisters in an evening that was as fulfilling as it was utterly exhausting. 150. Joint practice. Yin and Yang convergence. At dawn the next day, while Yu Qing was still lost in pleasant dreams, the lounge door crashed open. Aru and Duanxin stood in the doorway. Aru had her arms folded, her pink eyes flashing dangerously. Duanxin wore an eager, amused smile, the corner of her mouth tilted with mischief. "Oh my!" Aru cooed in an overly sweet voice as she surveyed the disheveled Yu Qing, who lay with an arm around each woman on the bed. "Looks like our great cult master Yu had a very eventful night. Isn't that right, Sister Sheener?" Duanxin chimed in. Duanxin nodded eagerly. "Indeed, Sister Ru. Look at the dark circles under the husband's eyes. Clearly he overexerted himself." Yu Qing met the two disapproving gazes and felt a familiar pain stir in his lower back. He forced a dry laugh and tried to explain. Rower, Sheener, let me explain." "Humph!" Aru cut him off with a cold snort. "Looks like we sisters haven't been caring for husband enough lately. So husband still has energy left to reward others." In that case, her smile took on a dangerous curve. "Starting today, we sisters will personally look after husband. We'll make sure he has no energy left to think about anyone else." With that, she and Duanxin stepped forward, eyes gleaming with ill intent. Yu Qing's scalp prickled as they advanced. He could already imagine the next few days of fire and water that awaited him. "I'm done for," he thought miserably. "My kidneys won't survive this." The Shui sisters, however, were unhurried. Shui Wuyue and Shui Wuxiang dressed calmly and, on their way out of the lounge, closed the door behind them. What followed were two more fierce battles. If not for the yin extreme reverse yang art, Yu Qing would have needed to brace himself against the wall to walk. When he finally escaped Aru and Duanxin's demonic claws and reached the arena, the core disciple matches were already halfway through. The Shui sisters had long since finished their bouts and taken easy victories. Now they sat together in the Yin-Yang sect's viewing area, heads bent over a conversation that clearly excited them. "Sister," Shui Wuyue whispered to Shui Wuxiang, "after last night's deep harmonization, I feel my spirit stirring again. If it evolves once more, it might truly become a water phoenix." Shui Wuxiang's voice was full of anticipation. "You mean to invite the other sisters for joint cultivation?" Shui Wuxiang's cool eyes flicked with interest. Shui Wei nodded like a kitten spotting a treat. "Dual cultivation alone gives limited yin-yang power. It probably can't break that final barrier. But if we all cultivate deeply together, pooling everyone's strength, our spirits might break through in one stroke and become true phoenix martial souls." Shui Wuxiang hesitated, concern knitting her brow. "But this morning Sister Ru and Sister Xin caught us. Will they agree?" Though they spoke softly, every word reached Yu Qing, who had just sat down, and A Ro, who appeared to be resting her eyes while secretly listening. Yu Qing glanced awkwardly at A Ro. cleared his throat and ventured, "Rower, what do you think? Should we set a time for a joint cultivation session?" Aru slowly opened her eyes and rolled them at him. "Humph, of course. If you want to cultivate together, I'll go gather the sisters right now." Her tone was sour, but her eyes betrayed no real opposition. She knew what spirit evolution meant for the Shui sisters and for the Yin-Yang sect, and joint cultivation would benefit her too. She only felt a stitch of jealousy about last night. Seeing Yu Qing nod, she stood and walked toward the rest area to summon the others. Yu Qing stayed with the Shui sisters to watch the matches. His first disciple, Dugu Yan, came bounding over and flung herself into his arms, chattering about everything she'd seen in Spirit City. Yu Qing enjoyed the rare warm moment, temporarily setting aside his worries. The fourth round of core disciple matches ended peacefully. On the leaderboard, the Clear Sky sect, the Yin-Yang sect, and the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School still held the top 3 spots. The Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon sect fared better this round. Their 2 core disciples won 4 consecutive matches, overtaking the White Tiger sect and climbing to 4th. It salvaged some face for Yu Yuanjin, though the gap with the top 3 remained clear. After the matches, Yu Qing led Shi Wuiyue and Shui Wuxiang back to the Yin-Yang sect rest area. Aru, having already gathered the others, grabbed them and pulled them into the largest lounge. Duan Xin, Zi Rui, and Purple Pearl had been waiting. When Yu Qing entered, each of the women displayed a distinctive smile. Duan Xin's full of cunning anticipation, Zi Rui's shy and gentle, Purple Pearl's bold and hungry-eyed. All of them clearly relished this rare chance for joint cultivation. "Everyone's here?" Aru confirmed, glancing around. "Then let's begin." Without more words, the 7 of them formed a circle and slowly removed their outer garments, revealing bodies honed by long years of spirit tempering. The room bloomed with the grace of spring. There was no lewdness in the air, only a solemn, sacred atmosphere. Hands met hands, palms touching, and they closed their eyes. Yu Qing activated the system's dual cultivation function, and a wondrous current of yin-yang power began to circulate among the 7, centered on him. Their breathing fell into a single rhythm. Spirit power and mental force resonated deeply. The whole room thrummed with an energy that cleared the heart and sharpened the mind. Time stretched in that profound state. Unnoticed, 3 hours slipped by as they completed 2 full cycles of yin-yang conjunction. When they emerged, every face shone with satisfaction and joy. The deep resonance had brought immense benefit to each of them. Their bodies brimmed with pure yin-yang power. As the joint cultivation ended and everyone prepared to return to their rooms to digest the gains, Shui Wuiyue and the others stepped outside. Aru and Duan Xin exchanged a look, remained behind, and quietly closed the door. Yu Qing looked at the 2 who had stayed, catching the lingering heat in their eyes, and gave a wry smile. "Ruer, Sheener, what are you doing?" "Humph." Aru snorted softly, sauntered over with cat-like grace, and lifted his chin with a slender finger. "What do you imagine? Just finished cultivating with the sisters, and now you want to send us away?" "Husband, that won't do." Duan Xin stepped up and hugged him from behind, whispering in his ear. "Exactly. Joint cultivation belongs to everyone, but private tutoring should be our turn." She drew closer. "Today, if you don't tutor us to satisfaction, you're not stepping out that door." Looking at his 2 beloved wives, Yu Qing groaned inwardly. Heaven, will this ever end? Protest would be useless. Under Aru and Duan Xin's gentle yet unyielding assault, Yu Qing could only brace himself and plunge into another, even more intense, yin-yang harmonization. Yu Qing clawed his way out of a suffocating whirlpool of tenderness, his lower back silently protesting. Aru and Duan Xin, the 2 lovely wives who'd come to demand an explanation, had evidently taken last night's private tutoring to its limits. The great cult master Yu now saw double if he blinked. "Sigh, being this charismatic is a burden," he muttered, rubbing his throbbing temples as 1,000 thoughts ran through his head. He pushed open the lounge door for a breath of morning air, and a water-blue blur collided with his chest, bringing a rush of perfume. "Husband, we did it! Sis and I really did it!" Shi Wei squealed like an excited sparrow, hopping and clutching his arm. Yu Qing staggered from the impact but managed a wry smile. "Easy, easy. What did we do?" "Our spirits evolved," Shi Wuxiang announced, stepping forward. Calmer than her sister, she couldn't hide her excitement completely. A faint smile softened her usually chilly expression. After that deep joint cultivation, the yin-yang power we gathered together far exceeded what either of us could manage alone. We finally broke through. The spirits became true phoenix martial souls. Yu Qing's fatigue dissolved at once. He tuned into their auras. Shui Wuyue's brimmed with vivacity and boundless flow, while Shui Wuxiang's had turned colder and deeper. A breakthrough, Shui Wuxiang added softly, gratitude in her voice. That's something to celebrate. Yu Qing ruffled Shui Wuyue's hair and gave Shui Wuxiang an approving smile. The sisters hurried into the lounge to thank Aro, who had just finished freshening up. Their effusive gratitude made the normally formidable Aro beam. Her laughter was bright and warm. Aro listened with a grin, then shot Yu Qing a knowing look. Next time you two plan on another deep harmonization, you'd better get permission from us first, she said, teasing. She sauntered off, pulling the snickering Duanqin with her, leaving Yu Qing alone with two newly minted phoenix wives whose gazes were full of mischief. Ha! Husband, did you hear? Sister Aru already gave permission. Shi Wuyue winked, her small hand skimming teasingly down his back. After today's matches, you'd better reward us properly. Sis and I are bursting with energy. Yu Qing felt a chill at the small of his back and cleared his throat. Ahem, the matches come first. The matches? All right, little sister, stop teasing him. Shui Wuxiang intervened, gently pulling Shi Wuyue back. We've got time. They took their reserved seats at the arena. The air buzzed, the competition had reached its latter stages, and powerful clashes were coming. Round 4 held no suspense for the sisters. Their opponents, intimidated by the faint yet terrifying aura the two of them gave off, prudently forfeited. The sisters conserved their strength and kept their newly evolved spirits concealed. The next morning, Yu Qing woke with dark crescents beneath his eyes, another victim of happy burdens. Today was the final round for core disciples, a critical day if the yin-yang sect hoped to climb the leaderboard. On the way to the venue, Shu Wei chattered nonstop. Sis, do you think we'll draw someone from the upper 3 sects? I want to see how strong we've become. Shui Wuxiang stayed composed. Let fate decide. But if we meet the blue lightning tyrant dragon sect? Anticipation flickered across her face. The ancient rivalry between dragon and phoenix always made for a spectacle. The draw was announced. Shui Wuxiang would face the blue lightning tyrant dragon sect's spirit emperor, Yu Shaoxin, while Shi Wuyue would fight a disciple from the Black Tiger sect. Wow, sis, your wish came true. Shui Wuyue whooped. Shui Wuxiang's lips curved, her icy gaze sparking with battle intent. Yu Shaoxin, cousin of the theoretician Grandmaster Yu Xiaogang, was a rising star. He had reached Spirit Emperor at 35 and had swept through every previous match. First to appear was Shui Wuyue, matched against a 59th level Spirit King from the Black Tiger sect. Even without fully releasing her newly evolved Ice Phoenix spirit, Shui Wuyue toyed with him. Ribbons of supple water bound the young man so tightly he couldn't take a step. He had strength to spare, but he couldn't even brush her robe. At last his spirit power ran dry, and he had no choice but to concede. Easy win. Shui Wuyue skipped back to Yu Qing, her face a billboard asking for praise. Yu Qing laughed and tapped the tip of her nose. Nicely done, but the real show's still ahead. All eyes turned to the second arena where Shui Wuxiang and Yu Shaoxin already faced one another. Yu Shaoxin was tall and stern, delicate arcs of electricity dancing across his body, the unmistakable mark of the blue lightning tyrant dragon. Shui Wuxiang, he said evenly, your spirit may have evolved, but the majesty of the blue lightning tyrant dragon will not be denied. Shui Wuxiang inclined her head, cool and aloof. Please enlighten me. The fight erupted. Experienced and measured, Yu Shaoxin didn't charge in blindly. He used bursts of lightning to probe and wear her down, chipping at the layers of ice she formed and dissipating the drifting chill. Lightning flashed, and ice shards splintered as the arena became a fierce, strangely balanced battleground. This Yu Shaoxin is impressive, rich practical experience, and so far he's only used his first 4 spirit abilities. An elder in the stands observed. He's forcing Shui Wuxiang to reveal her trump card first. If he triggers dragon transformation, she'll be in real danger. Yu Qing appeared perfectly relaxed. He trusted Shui Wuxiang, especially now that her spirit had evolved into an ice phoenix. As the fight intensified, the still scoreless Yu Shaoxin finally went all out. With a low roar, his muscles swelled and blue scales spread over his limbs, his hands and feet warping into savage draconic claws. Raging thunder wrapped his form, making him look like a humanoid tyrant dragon. Sixth soul skill, Blue Lightning Thunder Dragon Blast. He unleashed his 10,000-year spirit ring ability. A titanic dragon woven from violent lightning thunder surged forward, the air ionizing around it with crackling explosions. Facing such a cataclysmic strike, Shui Wuxiang's eyes blazed ice blue. She held nothing back. For the first time, the full might of the Ice Phoenix burst forth. Sixth soul skill, Nirvana Ice Cocoon. A clear, ringing phoenix cry split the sky as a colossal, lifelike phantom of an ice phoenix materialized. It spread magnificent wings of perfect ice and sheltered Shui Wuxiang within them. The moment the phantom appeared, the arena temperature plunged. Even the reinforced spirit barrier glazed over with thick frost that crackled audibly. The referee nearest the stage, caught off guard, found his beard and brows coated in white rime, and shivered. Then the Thunder Dragon slammed into the absolute defense of the Ice Phoenix. Boom! Instead of mutual annihilation, the dragon struck the phoenix's wings as though hitting an ancient glacier. From its head down, its vast body froze in an instant, blue lightning suspended in transparent frost, locked in a roaring pose yet unable to advance another inch. The Ice Phoenix phantom remained intact, and the biting cold it radiated surged outward to claim half the arena. What? What is that? Someone in the stands leapt to his feet, voice cracking with shock. Ice! Ice Phoenix! A true top-tier beast spirit, the Ice Phoenix! A spirit hall elder cried, disbelief plain in his face. Impossible! Wasn't her spirit an ice Luan? How could it evolve into a phoenix? High above, Supreme Pontiff Bibi Dong, who had been sitting perfectly still, suddenly leaned forward, violet eyes flashing as she stared at Shui Wuxiang. She murmured, "Is there really a way to evolve a spirit without undergoing a god trial?" Ning Fengji and Sword Douluo Chenshin of the Seven Treasure Glazed Tile School exchanged glances, both seeing the seriousness in the other's eyes. From the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon Sect, Sect Master Yu Yuan's face had gone so dark it looked about to drip. His hand gripped the armrest white-knuckled. On the stage, Yu Shaoxin watched his strongest attack nullified. His pupils narrowed, and for the first time, horror crossed his face. He could clearly sense that the grade of her Ice Phoenix was no lower than his Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon, and in attribute, it even slightly countered his thunder. Shi Wuxiang raised her hand slowly, fingertip aimed at the frozen Thunder Dragon and at the stunned Yu Shaoxin. Her cool voice rang like ice against jade. It seems my Ice Phoenix has the edge. 152. Frozen victory in celebration. Shui Wuxiang's slender fingertip tapped the Thunder Dragon statue frozen solid. Crack. A crisp, crystalline sound rang out like breaking glass. In the next instant, the colossal ice sculpture of the Thunder Dragon spiderwebbed with hairline fissures and, under the stunned gaze of the entire arena, exploded in a thunderous boom into countless glittering shards that drifted down like powdered snow, refracting the sunlight. But behind that beautiful scene came an even deeper chill. Detonate. Shui Wuxiang's red lips parted, and the single word fell like an ice pearl on jade. At her command, the enormous Ice Phoenix phantom guarding her back, as if completing its final duty, let out a high, ethereal cry. Its massive form swelled, boom, an even more terrifying, pure gale of ice than the earlier Thunder Dragon blast, like a primeval beast of the polar wastes, rushed outward with world-ending momentum. The arena floor cracked inch by inch before being sealed beneath a newer, thicker layer of ice. The reinforced spirit power barrier groaned under the strain, its surface frozen so solid the stage inside became almost invisible. A fearsome cold spilled past the barrier. Contestants and referees on nearby platforms shivered and hurriedly circulated spirit power to resist the sudden chill. Not good. Yu Shaoxin's face changed drastically at the heart of the storm. This force exceeded all his expectations. At this life-or-death moment, he dropped all pretenses. With a furious roar, dazzling blue lightning erupted from his right arm, and a strange bone patterned like a dragon flashed into being. Spirit Bone Skill, Thunder Dragon Guard. A solid blue barrier woven of leaping arcs sprang up to enclose him. Within it, a small thunder dragon coiled, radiating formidable defense. "That's a spirit bone." Gasps rippled through the stands. Many eyes reddened with envy. A spirit bone, rarer than even a top-tier spirit ring. The Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon Sect was indeed deep-pocketed to equip even a Spirit Emperor disciple with such a treasure. From the power, it must be a 10,000-year-plus spirit bone skill. Some murmured, green with envy, though the sect's prestige forced them to swallow it. Yet even a 10,000-year spirit bone skill trembled before this ultimate eruption of the Ice Phoenix martial soul. The blue lightning shield twisted and flickered amid the endless ice storm, yielding with crackling, wrenching sounds on the verge of collapse. Yu Shaoxin clenched his teeth, pouring every scrap of spirit power into the arm bone to hold it. The storm raged for a dozen heartbeats before gradually subsiding. When sight cleared, Yu Shaoxin still stood, but the Thunder Dragon Guard around him was dim and nearly transparent. Though not completely frozen, his lower body was encased in thick ice. Frost coated his brows and hair. His face had gone bloodless, a thin trickle of red at his lips, clearly drained and injured. He struggled, spirit power surging to shatter the ice, but the ultimate frost was too tenacious. Instead, a biting cold numbed his legs toward unconsciousness. High above, Sectmaster Yuanzhen of the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon Sect sat expressionless, knuckles white on the armrest. He glanced at the spent Yu Shaoxin, then at the unruffled Yu Qing on the opposite stand, a complicated gleam in his eyes. Finally, he drew a slow breath and spoke in a deep, slightly hoarse voice. "Referee, announced the result." An uproar swept the arena. "What? Sectmaster Yu is conceding?" Before, when Yuanzhen was crushed, he never yielded. Why now? Different. Yuanzhen was utterly overwhelmed. Yu Shaoxin threw everything he had and still had no chance. If this drags on, it could damage his foundation, or that priceless spirit bone. The sect master is cutting losses. Looks like the Yin-Yang sect really frightened the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon sect? The chatter surged. The referee, startled, raised a stiff arm and shouted, "Final core disciple match. Winner, Yin-Yang sect, Shui Wuxiang." With the verdict, Shui Wuxiang flicked her wrist and the biting cold around Yu Shaoxin receded like a tide. The ice melted away. Freed, he staggered but stayed on his feet, staring at her with frustrated resignation, the look of someone who has met an insurmountable opponent. He bowed slightly to Shui Wuxiang and the referee, then left the arena in silence, looking utterly desolate. Compared with Yu Yuanzhen, whose spirit had been shattered and whose future lay in ruins, his own ending was at least salvageable. That night, under countless gazes, a Spirit Hall elder announced the overall standings of the core disciple matches. As expected, Clear Sky Sect and Yin Yang Sect shared the top 2 spots with perfect records, each claiming the full 40 points. The 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School held third with 38 points, while the much-watched Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon Sect, tied with the White Tiger Sect at 34 points, came in fourth. The once leading powerhouse of the lower 4 sects, Elephant Armored Academy, suffered a Waterloo after consecutive defeats, accumulating only 28 points and tumbling to 12th place, overtaken by a luckier sect and utterly disgraced. Next, the Spirit Hall Elder announced the rules for the next stage, the mid-tier strength matches. This stage, the very core of the selection for the 7 great sects, set merciless limits. Contestants must be under 50 years old and possess at least 7 spirit rings as a spirit saint. Each sect would still field 2 fighters for 5 rounds, with a total of 20 points at stake. The moment these rules were spoken, wails rose from the smaller and medium-sized sects. A spirit saint under 50? Such a requirement was brutal. Across the entire continent, the number of sects that could meet it would probably not exceed 15. It was clearly a yardstick the Spirit Hall used to measure a sect's future potential and its reserve of top mid-tier combat power, a true contest for the powerful. Inside the Yin-Yang sect's private lounge, however, the mood was jubilant. Having swept first place in 2 straight rounds, Yu Qing was in high spirits. He personally prepared a sumptuous dinner, using spirit vegetables, exotic fruits, and rare spirit beast meat unique to the ice and fire yin-yang. Well, serving dishes that were both delicious and rich in pure energy. He also poured the fruit wine he had carefully brewed, warming and nourishing to spirit power, and toasted with his lovely wives. Congratulations, husband. Cheers to you. Aru raised her cup first, smiling sweetly, pink eyes sparkling. 2 victories in a row. Let's see who dares underestimate our yin-yang sect now. It's everyone's achievement. Yu Qing clinked cups with her, his gaze sweeping the radiant faces around the table, his heart full. Duanxin drained her cup boldly, cheeks flushed and charming. Zirui sipped slowly, elegantly. Shui Wuxiang and Shui Wuyue leaned together, whispering about the day's battles and laughing. The dinner was warm and lively, full of the feeling of home. Yet Yu Qing failed to notice that, between toasts, his wives exchanged glances that carried not only joy, but a huntress's excitement before the chase. When the food was gone and night deepened, he thought the celebration was over and that he could return to his room to digest the abundant energy within him, only to realize how naive he had been. Husband. Aru's voice, languid and enticing, came from behind as soft arms slipped around his neck. It seems there's still one more step to tonight's celebration? Yu Qing's body stiffened. A familiar, ominous premonition rose in him. He turned to see Duanxin, Shui Wuyue, even the usually reserved Shui Wuxiang and Zi Ruyi surrounding him, eyes sparkling with mischief. Wait, I still need to plan for the mid-tier matches, he tried, one last protest. Oh, please. The candidates were chosen ages ago, with Sister Rui and Sister Genju. Victory is certain. Shui Wei giggled, already catching his arm. Exactly, husband. After so many wins, shouldn't you give us a special reward? Duanxin licked her red lips, eyes heated. Even Shui Wuxiang added softly, cheeks flushed but gaze firm. Yu Qing, looking at those devastatingly beautiful, clearly unsatisfied faces, his mind screamed, My kidneys! My poor waist! Are you trying to squeeze them dry? This isn't celebration. This is exploitation. Protest was useless. Amid half-hearted resistance, he was hustled with laughter into the largest lounge, a room destined for no peace that night. The next 2 days felt like one long celebration. When he was finally released by his thoroughly contented wives, his steps were unsteady, his expression a complex mix of bliss and exhaustion, like a cat that had been thoroughly ravaged. Alive, at last. Leaning against the doorframe, he looked up at the sky and exhaled deeply, savoring the fresh, free air. From within the lounge, faint, satisfied laughter still drifted, his wives celebrating something else altogether. 153. The Purple Vine Nebula astonished everyone. The 6-day rest period passed in a blur. Yu Qing had suffered through daily torment, but when he finally strode back into the arena in high spirits, the mid-tier powerhouse matches began. After Spirit Hall's strict checks on bone age and spirit power, only 12 sects qualified for this Spirit Saint bracket. Besides the traditional upper 3 sects, the Clear Sky sect, the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School, and the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon sect, and the lower 4, the White Tiger sect, the Wind Sword sect, the Elephant Armored Academy, and the Fire Leopard sect, 4 long-established powers remained: the Black Tiger sect, the Sacred Dragon sect, the Rock Antelope sect, and the Sparrow Bee sect. The biggest dark horse was the Yin-Yang sect. The venue was still the majestic Supreme Pontiff's altar, but now only a single stage sat at its center. It was several times wider than any before, cast from a special dark gold metal that pulsed with tangible spirit power. Its energy fluctuations already rivaled those of an ordinary spirit Douluo. Clearly, to cope with Spirit Saint clashes and the possible unleashing of martial soul true bodies, Spirit Hall had taken every precaution to prevent another arena catastrophe. 12 teams filed in. The air was grimmer and more deadly than ever. Everyone on that stage was the most outstanding genius their sect had produced in 50 years, the future pillars of their schools. With competitors so evenly matched, luck of the draw mattered little. Any opponent would be brutal. Unless you possessed something like the Clear Sky sect's chaotic cape, the 7 Treasure Pagoda's heaven-defying support, or the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon's dragon transformation, one-sided stomps were unlikely. Mid-tier powerhouse matches. Round 1, draw begins, a Spirit Hall elder announced. Numbers whirled across the huge light screen, then froze. No. 154, Yin-Yang sect, Zirui, versus number 149, Fire Leopard sect, Huoliang. Number 178, Yin-Yang sect, Purple Pearl, versus number 145, Black Tiger sect, Husha. The Yin-Yang sect boxed relaxed. Zirui and Purple Pearl exchanged a calm smile, clearly unconcerned by their opening opponents. Other sects watched closely, eager to see how deep the yin-yang sect's mid-tier strength ran. First onto the stage was Zirui. Dressed in purple and moving with effortless grace, she walked across the vast dark gold platform. Long violet hair fluttered behind her, and an elegant, composed smile rested on her delicate face. Every eye in the arena followed her. What a beauty! She's from yin-yang sect? She looks so young? Really a spirit saint? Spectators buzzed. In a VIP box, a senior mentor from Spirit Hall's Advanced Spirit Master Academy gasped, staring at Zirui. It's her, impossible. Who? Someone asked. More than know her, the mentor exclaimed. Do you remember the 7 prodigies who represented our academy in the continent-wide Advanced Spirit Master Tournament 7 years ago? She was one of them, Zirui. Recognition spread through the stands. It really is her, but she hadn't even broken through to Spirit King at graduation. How is she already a spirit saint? Terrifying cultivation speed. Must be the training she got after joining Yin-Yang sect. What exactly are their secrets? Under countless shocked, curious stares, the 2 fighters on stage exchanged names. Fire Leopard sect's spirit saint, Huo Liang, was a stocky, middle-aged man with a ruddy face. He sensed Zirui's unfathomable aura and bowed respectfully. Fire Leopard sect, Huo Liang, 74th rank attack system battle spirit saint. Your guidance, please. Zirui inclined her head. Her gentle voice carried clearly across the arena. Yin-Yang sect, Zirui, 77th rank control system spirit saint. Your guidance, please. 77? Huo Liang's face changed. The referee tugged his ear in surprise. Bone testing had shown the woman was under 30, an unheard-of age for a 77th rank control system spirit saint. That's right. Zirui smiled faintly. With a thought, vast spirit power swelled from her like a tide. 2 yellow, 2 purple, and 3 black, 7 spirit rings in total, rose beneath her feet. The sheer pressure of that spirit power made Huo Liang gasp for breath. What truly made every major figure in the VIP seats, including Supreme Pontiff Bibi Dong and former Supreme Pontiff Qian Shunji, spring to their feet was the 7th ring. Within that deep black ring lurked a faint, blood-red hue. It wasn't a true 100,000-year spirit ring, but its quality reached at least 95,000 years, infinitely close to 100,000. How is this possible? Former Supreme Pontiff Qian Shunji muttered, all composure gone. Absorbing a ring nearly 100,000 years for the 7th? This isn't just over-limit absorption, this is a miracle. Common knowledge among spirit masters placed the limit for a 7th spirit ring around 50,000 years. Anyone surpassing that was a 1 in a million phenomenon. For Zirui's 7th ring to near the 100,000 threshold overturned everyone's understanding. What monstrous physique, iron will, or heaven-defying opportunity had made this possible? Bibi Dong's violet eyes flashed. She realized the Yin-Yang sect must hold secrets far beyond ordinary imagination. Perhaps methods not only of spirit evolution, but of shattering the limits of spirit ring absorption. On stage, feeling the terrifying pressure of that near 100,000-year ring, Huo Liang's forehead beaded with cold sweat. Still, he was a seasoned spirit saint. Gritting his teeth, battle intent flared in his eyes. Even if my spirit power rank and rings fall short, I'll still test your mettle. Fire Leopard, possess. Boom. Blazing flames erupted around him, turning his entire body into a living torch. 7 spirit rings lit beneath him, 2 yellow, 2 purple, 3 black, the standard configuration. 7th spirit ability, Martial Soul True Body. Huo Liang pushed to his peak, transforming into a colossal flaming leopard and pouncing on Zirui with an aura that could burn everything away. Zirui remained unperturbed. She lifted a hand and parted her lips. 7th spirit ability, Martial Soul True Body. There was no earth-shattering roar. Instead, a huge, noble, mysterious plant phantom quietly materialized behind her, its vines no longer simple purple but woven with countless shards of starlight, flowing and binding like a dream. This was the evolved top-tier plant spirit, the nebula purple emperor vine. Even more shocking, her martial soul true body possessed extreme resistance to fire. Flames hot enough to melt refined steel slammed into the vine barrier and were blunted, their power unable to advance an inch. Nebula binding. Zirui flicked a finger. Countless starlit purple vines, as if alive, snaked at Huo Liang's martial soul true body from every direction. No matter how he roared, charged, or spewed fire, he could not break free of this Star River net. He poured everything into attack, even his fifth and sixth spirit abilities, but violent fireballs and flame storms only thinned against the Nebula Purple Emperor Vine. Its uncanny flexibility and devouring force whittled down both his flames and his spirit power. A few minutes later, Huoliang panted heavily, his spirit power nearly spent, while Zirui stood calm and poised, as if merely warmed up. "I concede," Huoliang said bitterly, helpless. The gap was too great. Spirit power rank, spirit quality, ring age, all crushed him. There was simply no way to continue. The referee, having regained his senses, hastily announced, "Match 1. Winner, Yin-Yang Sect, Zirui." Zirui smiled slightly, dismissed her spirit, nodded politely to Huoliang, and gracefully stepped off the stage. The audience and the great sects were left shaken. Beyond the ease of the victory, the upper echelons of Spirit Hall and the great sects were roiled by two urgent questions. How had the Yin-Yang sect enabled a spirit master to absorb a seventh ring nearly 100,000 years in age, and what revolutionary secret allowed Zirui's spirit to evolve from the Purple Cloud Vine into the top-tier Nebula Purple Emperor Vine? Or could that path be replicated? 154. The Shock of Chihiro. When Zirui returned to the Yin-Yang sect spectator seats with graceful steps, she happened to see Ning Fengji, schoolmaster of the Seven Treasure Glazed Tile School, one of the upper three sects, famed for his refined manners, hovering around Yu Qing with an almost obsequious smile. "Sect Master Yu, surely we can be considered friends by now?" Ning Fengji said, rubbing his hands together and sounding ingratiating. "If you could resolve Senior Dugu Bo's spirit backlash and help the Shui family sisters evolve their spirits into a phoenix, surely this small limitation of our seven treasure glazed tile pagoda, heh, you could take a look at it, couldn't you?" Yu Qing, part amused and part exasperated, spread his hands. "Schoolmaster Ning, you flatter me. It's not that I wouldn't help. Your pagoda simply begins at such an exalted state," he explained patiently. "My methods for spirit evolution are like carving an uncut jade to reveal its value. But your pagoda is already a national treasure-level masterpiece. Its limitations are rules engraved deep in its origin, the cost of being the world's top support spirit. Forcing a change risks breaking the jade itself." He wasn't making excuses. His origin evolution theory and his special medicinal baths could unlock huge potential and encourage benign variation, but only if the spirit still had room to grow. A top-tier spirit like the Seven Treasure Glazed Tile Pagoda, crystallized into near-absolute rules, had barriers normal methods couldn't overcome. Unless, much like in the old stories, it encountered a celestial herb such as the delicate immortal tulip that could stitch its origin back together. Or unless Ning Fengji himself found a Tao companion with whom to cultivate yin and yang. Yu Qing kept that last thought to himself. Really? Nothing at all? Ning Fengji's hope dimmed visibly, his face folding in frustration and sorrow. Seeing his disappointment, Yu Qing relented a little. After a moment, he added, "Well, not entirely. I've read of heaven-defying immortal herbs in very ancient texts, plants that can seize creation itself and remold a foundation. Perhaps among them, there is one that could repair a pagoda's origin and help it evolve." "Immortal herbs?" Ning Fengji brightened, clinging to the final straw. "But those are only ancient records. Who knows if they exist, what kind they'd be, or where to find them?" Yu Qing cooled his tone and shifted the burden. "Chrysanthemum Douluo Yuguan is the true expert in this field. Ask him, he may know more." Ning Fengji's face fell. Seeking that eccentric, Spirit Hall loyal Chrysanthemum Douluo for such secrets would be difficult indeed. He sighed, exchanged polite words, and departed with hope and melancholy warring in his expression. Yu Qing shook his head and turned his attention back to the arena. Next up, Purple Pearl. On the stage, Purple Pearl faced an opponent from the Black Tiger sect. Their spirit saint, Hu Sha, lived up to his name, huge, ferocious, muscles knotted, eyes blazing with a killer's glare. Clearly, he was no easy target. Black Tiger sect, Hu Sha, level 75 attack-type battle spirit saint, your instruction. The announcer's voice rang like a bell, pressure sweeping outward. Purple Pearl smiled, cool as a sea breeze. Yin-Yang sect, Purple Pearl, level 76 control-type battle spirit saint. Let's have a pleasant match. Her husky tone made many throats tighten. The fight began with a roar. Husha instantly empowered himself. His body swelled. Black and yellow stripes appeared across his skin, claws gleaming as he lunged with savage speed. But Purple Pearl moved like a slipper fish. Her footwork was impossible to predict. After her spirit evolved into the Purple Moon Sea Dragon, it combined the softness of water with a dragon's ferocity and carried a poison that struck before you could raise your guard. She didn't need to press the attack. She drifted across the stage and flicked her wrists. Thick purple mist billowed like living smoke while corrosive water arrows and watery prisons harried her foe. Soon half the arena resembled a strange purple swamp, the air heavy with a cloying, dangerous sweetness. Husha's tiger slaughter technique packed tremendous power, but it felt like punching cotton. He dared not step into the swamp. Every burst of spirit power could momentarily disperse the mist, but the cost was huge, and the lingering poison gnawed at his protective energy. Discomfort crept in. His movements grew sluggish. Tsk, another poison master. This yin-yang sect really keeps dragons and tigers in hiding, someone scoffed. Her spirit is heavily water attribute. She must be sea-born. A control-type spirit saint fighting like this is cheating. Shameful. The crowd buzzed, half in awe and half disdain at Purple Pearl's attrition tactics, but she didn't care. A relaxed smile lingered on her pretty face. To her, it was an amusing game. Up in the VIP seats, one man's shock was far deeper than anyone else's. Former Supreme Pontiff Qian Shunji's gaze was locked on that bewitching face. His brows tightened as a powerful sense of familiarity surged through him. Faces of women from his past flashed through his mind like images in a lantern. Then suddenly, a hazy figure in Spirit Hall's purple Holy Maiden robes merged with the memory of a disciple he himself had secretly sent on a mission overseas. It's her? Impossible. Chanshinji's heart jolted. He nearly leapt from his seat. He fought down the rising blood in terror, his expression flickering. Teacher, are you all right? You look pale, Bibi Dong beside him asked softly, noticing his discomposure. And nothing. Chanshinji forced a smile and feigned calm, just marveling at how lucky the yin-yang sect is to gather so many genius spirit masters. Inside, however, monstrous waves were already churning. Purple Pearl, this former holy maiden of Spirit Hall, one of his own personal disciples, had been sent abroad under the pretense of training to spy on Sea God Island. She was supposed to have disappeared or perished overseas. Why was she here, alive, enlisted in the yin-yang sect, her strength risen to spirit saint, and her spirit evolved into the mighty Purple Moon Sea Dragon? A flood of questions crashed into Qian Shunji at once. Had the mission failed? Had she betrayed Spirit Hall? Did Yu Qing know her true identity? Had the yin-yang sect swept her in as part of some scheme against Spirit Hall? I must see Father at once, he decided, his eyes darkening. This was a grave matter that needed High Priest Qian Daolu's judgment. While his thoughts tangled, the match on stage was ending. Husha's spirit power, drained by Purple Pearl's constant attrition, gave out. His face had gone pale from deep poisoning, and he could hardly stand. I concede, he panted, the 3 words squeezed out in grievance and unwillingness. He had used everything and barely grazed her. Purple Pearl withdrew her spirit, and the mist blew the big man a teasing kiss. Thanks for the win, big guy. Then, beneath a storm of complex stares, she floated off the stage. On the first day of the middle-rank matches, the yin-yang sect took 2 easy victories, revealing the unfathomable depth of its mid-tier strength. 155, the Angel's Decision. Zirui and Purple Pearl's brilliant performances on the first day were like 2 heavy bombs dropped into a still lake. The ripples spread instantly to every participating sect, especially the self-proclaimed top 3. At the Clear Sky sect camp, the mood was grim. The 2 spirit saint disciples chosen to represent the sect stood before Sectmaster Tang Zhen with bitter smiles. The burly man scratched his head. Sect Master, we don't mean to praise others and belittle ourselves, but those 2 girls, their strength is uncanny. Zirui's control is flawless. My Clear Sky hammer hits hard, but it's useless if I can't touch her. Even if I use the Clear Sky 9 absolutes, at best I can guarantee a 50-50 chance. The leaner disciple added, their spirit quality feels no weaker than the Blue Lightning Tyrant dragons, and with those over-spec spirit rings and, well, obviously specially trained, agile, and tricky movement and combat techniques, fighting them is suffocating. its strength with nowhere to vent. Tang Zhen sat up straight, his thick fingers drumming the armrest. His face showed little emotion, but his gaze was sharp. After a long moment, he asked in a low voice, "Stop thinking about relying solely on spirit abilities. How far have each of you cultivated the Clear Sky 9 absolutes?" The burly disciple answered, "I've fully mastered the Zhen formula. The other 6 I can release at 70 to 80%. "I train the Po formula," the leaner disciple said. "I'm still unskilled. Maybe I can surprise them at a critical moment." Tang Zhen nodded and issued a decisive order. "Good. If the draw places us against the Yin-Yang sect, don't hesitate. Unleash the Clear Sky 9 absolutes immediately. It's our ultimate trump card. Use force to break finesse and we might throw off their rhythm. Remember, victory is secondary. What matters is showing the Clear Sky sect's aura and probing their limits." "Yes, Sect Master," the 2 spirit saints replied together, flame rekindled in their eyes. Though the pressure was immense, their master's trust and clear tactics steadied them. At the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School, Ning Fengji was mired in indecision. He frowned, idly spinning the rim of his teacup, wrestling inwardly. Should I spend the only 2 external assists on the Yin-Yang sect? Sending a core disciple would greatly increase our odds. But if we burn those precious assists here, what about when we later face the Clear Sky sect or the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon sect, Furious? Without assistance, our Spirit Saint disciples could lose twice, and our total score would look terrible. He glanced at Sword Douluo Chenshin, who sat beside him eyes closed, and sighed inwardly. In the end, reason prevailed over impulse. Ning Fengji reluctantly abandoned the idea of going all in and chose a steadier strategy. Against the Yin-Yang sect, we'll focus on conserving strength and observing. Our advantage is in team battles, so in solo matches we do our best, he told himself. The Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon sect camp, however, was the most oppressive. Sect Master Yu Yuanjin's face was so dark it seemed to drip. Faint arcs of lightning trembled restlessly around him. The 2 core Spirit Saint disciples standing before him hardly dared breathe. The glory of the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon had already been trampled twice by the Yin-Yang sect in earlier matches. If they lost again in these mid-tier bouts, even a single defeat could drop them from the upper 3. But did he risk everything, send 2 future pillars to fight to the death against those extraordinary women? The memory of Yu Xuanzhen's shattered spirit was still fresh. The sect was already showing a generational gap. Losing another top spirit saint would be frost on snow, shaking the foundation. On one side lay the glory passed down for generations. On the other, the practical survival of the sect's future. The choice pressed down on Yu Yuanjin like 2 mountains. He paced all night, and by dawn he seemed to have aged years. In a hoarse, exhausted voice, he told the disciples waiting for orders, "If the draw places us against the Yin-Yang sect, prioritize survival. No need for a deathmatch. The sect needs you alive." When he spoke those words, he felt like his heart was bleeding. Endless frustration, helplessness, and a sting of jealousy toward the Yin-Yang sect's depth gnawed at him. When had the proud Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon sect ever needed to strategically preserve strength in a tournament? But the reality was unassailable. In Spirit Hall's Hall of Worship, Qian Shunji stood respectfully before his father, Qian Douluo, and reported everything he had seen: the evolution of spirits, a 7th ring approaching 100,000 years, and the reappearance of the former Holy Maiden, Purple Pearl. Qian Daolu's face, usually placid, remained calm, but a ripple ran through his star-deep eyes. The first 2 points, in particular, stirred the heart of this 99-level Super Douluo who had guarded the angel faith his whole life. If the Yin-Yang sect truly had the power to overturn the foundation of the Spirit Master world, its threat would dwarf any single sect, or even any empire. "I will personally watch the matches tomorrow," Qian Daoluo said, his voice still gentle but carrying iron resolve. "Before I reach a final judgment, you and anyone else in Spirit Hall are not to act rashly against Yu Qing or the Yin-Yang sect." "Yes, father," Qian Shunji replied, head bowed. As for Purple Pearl, Qian Daoluo added, his tone several degrees heavier, "Classify it as top secret, especially do not let Bibi Dong find out." A chill ran through Qian Shunji's heart. "Understood," he answered immediately. After Qian Shunji left the Hall of Worship, Daoluo remained alone in the vast room. He slowly raised his head to gaze at the angel god statue bathed in soft holy light. A rare, unconcealed wariness showed on his face. The wheels of the era seemed to be rolling in a direction he could not fully control. "Big brother, are you really going to meet that Qing tomorrow?" A resonant voice broke the silence. A white-haired, gold-embroidered elder strode in, Spirit Hall's second priest, the 98-level peak Douluo known as Gold Crocodile. Daoluo nodded slightly. "Spirit evolution, absorption of spirit rings beyond the limit. This is no ordinary opportunity. Anyone who can guide others to such heights is no mere mortal." Gold Crocodile's thick brows rose. "Big brother, do you mean he might be some sort of divinity?" Daoluo shook his head, his gaze distant. "Not necessarily, but he very likely qualifies for a god trial. Tomorrow I will quietly test him with a wisp of angel divine force. If he truly is a god trial candidate." He paused, then spoke a decision that stunned even Gold Crocodile Douluo. "Perhaps I will consider sending Shuer to his side to receive his guidance." "What?" Gold Crocodile's eyes bulged. "Big brother, this Shuer is the future of our angel clan. This is too risky." Daoluo turned, his calm gaze fixed on his old friend with unshakable determination. "Precisely because she is the angel clan's future, we must not become complacent. If Qing represents a path to a higher level, then having Shuer contact it, learn from it, even compete for that opportunity, may be the best choice for her and for the angel clan. Of course, everything will wait until after tomorrow's test." Gold Crocodile looked at the unyielding light in Daoluo's eyes. Knowing that once the high priest made a decision, it was nearly impossible to change, he could only sigh and fall silent. The hall of worship returned to quiet, the angel statue's light flowing slowly across Daoluo's contemplative face. 156. Sendo Ryu's proposal. The next day, the intermediate stage continued in full swing. Matches between spirit saints might not have the spectacle of Spirit Douluo or titled Douluo clashes, but the combinations of spirit abilities, tooling, and tactics were often more intricate and intense. Qing still brought Zirui and Purple Pearl to the spectator stand. Despite their victory yesterday, the two women remained alert, scrutinizing potential threats. Their attention was especially fixed on the Clear Sky sect and the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon sect. As for the Seven Treasure Glazed Tile School, without the support of the heaven-defying Seven Treasure Glazed Tile Pagoda, their spirit saints were only marginally stronger than those from the lower four sects. No immediate danger. Round after round passed without much drama. It wasn't until the sixth round that a match everyone had been waiting for finally began. Clear Sky Sect Spirit Saint versus Elephant Armored Academy Spirit Saint. It was a straightforward clash of a top-tier offensive tool spirit against a top-tier defensive beast spirit, a raw test of force versus fortitude. Zirui and Purple Pearl leaned forward, eyes fixed on the arena. The Clear Sky Sect Spirit Saint stood like a mountain, gripping a massive Clear Sky hammer. He didn't rely on flashy moves or the famed disorder-splitting wind hammer method. He simply smashed, one blow after another. Each strike carried terrifying explosive power. The Elephant Armored Academy Spirit Saint initially held his ground behind the fortress-like Diamond Mammoth defense, but the Clear Sky Hammer's raw force was relentless. Each impact seemed to reverberate through his spirit nodes, unsettling his chi and blood. Fine fissures began to spider across his diamond-like defensive cuticle. "Husband, it looks like the Clear Sky sect is holding back," Zirui murmured, brows slightly drawn. She could tell the Clear Sky sect fighter wasn't unleashing everything. He was testing the limits of his opponent's defense with simple, brutal force. "Normal," Qing said lazily, reclining in his seat. "Faced with you two monsters, they're naturally hiding their real strength. No one wants to display their trump cards and end up being singled out. The unknown is the most dangerous weapon." Qing. Purple Pearl watched the elephant-armored fighter being driven back and commented with relish. "This explosive power is something else, worthy of being the continent's top tool spirit. Look at him. The poor guy's being hammered like a rolling gourd, can't even strike back." Qing stroked his chin, greedily eyeing the Clear Sky sect. "Among the Clear Sky sect's 4 branches, there's one that specializes in defense, the plate armor rhinoceros spirit. Its defense is reputed to be even more abnormal than the diamond mammoths. They must drill specifically on how to break defenses and how to apply force. If I could, if I could get a few Clear Sky sect disciples and train them my way, imagine a Clear Sky hammer demolition squad sweeping the continent. He fell silent, the smile fading as reality intruded. The Clear Sky sect's ingrained sect loyalty ran deep. Trying to poach their disciples would be like trying to make Yu and Jen dance on the spot. The thought of that obstacle cooled his enthusiasm. Just then, Yu Qing felt something odd, a barely there probe, delicate as a feather brushing past his awareness. His brows drew together. The sensation of being covertly observed made him uneasy, especially since the watcher seemed to use some refined concealment technique, appearing and disappearing like mist. Outwardly calm, Yu Qing quietly spread his mental force, like a spiderweb sweeping the crowd. His gaze drifted across the spectator stands and settled on a most unremarkable corner. A man in a simple gray cloth shirt sat there, handsome, ordinary, with not even the faintest spirit power fluctuation. He melted into the crowd as if he were a drop in the sea. But Yu Qing's intuition pricked. This ordinary man was the one probing him. From him, Yu Qing sensed an aura that wasn't ordinary at all, an elevation similar to sea god Douluo Bosaishi, a transcendent quality edging toward the divine rank sphere. Spirit Hall High Priest, Qian Daoliu, the thought formed in Yu Qing's mind. As if responding to Yu Qing's attention, the man slowly lifted his head. Their gazes met. A faint golden sacred light flared in the man's eyes. The world around Yu Qing blurred and shifted, as if time and space bent. In a blink, he was no longer in the noisy stands, but in a boundless, peculiar space suffused with soft golden light. There were no landmarks here, only an ocean of mental force and a refreshing, holy aura. Mental space, Yu Qing said with interest, as countless motes of gold drew together to form a faintly ethereal, yet immensely majestic figure. Qian Daoliu. Presumably you are the Spirit Hall High Priest, Qian Daoliu? Yu Qing asked first, his tone composed. He showed none of the deference others might display. His confidence had roots. Qian Daoliu's shimmering form inclined slightly. His voice was serene, but carried a weight that pierced directly into the soul. Indeed, you surprise me, Yu Qing. To reach peak level 97 at such a young age is rare. Yu Qing shrugged off the compliment. You brought me here for more than praise, didn't you? Say it plainly. Qian Daoliu's deep eyes searched Yu Qing as if trying to read him completely. After a pause, he spoke with deliberate gravity. I did not come merely to observe. I've come for a favor. Oh? Yu Qing raised an eyebrow. What business would require the personal appearance of someone like you, a high priest at the continent's pinnacle? Qian Daoliu's expression turned solemn. He chose his words carefully. I want you to take my granddaughter, Qian Renshui, as your disciple. For several seconds, Yu Qing just stared. Then he reached up and rubbed his ear, as if checking he'd heard correctly. Huh? 157. Illusion Space. In the mental space shaped by will and sacred aura, Qian Daoliu's phantom watched Yu Qing in silence. The brief mental contact and the probing with angel divine force had been subtle, but the feedback exploded in his mind like thunder. There was no mistake. More than one transcendent aura flowed within this young man, an imprint of a divinity, the clearest mark of a God trial participant. Judging by the interwoven, profound, powerful fluctuations, the trials he endured were probably from two different gods. A dual God trial participant. A monstrous wave surged in Qian Daoliu's chest. No wonder he had reached the terrifying realm of level 97 Super Douluo at such a young age. No wonder he could master heaven-defying techniques like spirit evolution and the absorption of spirit rings beyond the limit. The favor of two gods explained it all. This discovery steadied Qian Daoliu's previously wavering resolve. Entrusting Xue'er to such a person for cultivation might indeed be an unprecedented opportunity for the Angel clan. Yu Qing, of course, didn't know the shock Qian Daoliu felt. He quickly wiped the surprise from his face after the apprenticeship offer and returned to his usual composed demeanor, raising an eyebrow. Oh, why me? Your spirit hall has prodigies and boundless resources. Why hand your future successor to an outsider like me? Qian Daoliu's phantom kept a steady expression, his voice calm but full of weight. Simple. The theory and practice you demonstrated in spirit evolution and absorbing spirit rings beyond the limit are enough for me to stake everything on this gamble." He paused, then went on. "More importantly, your growth trajectory is proof itself. Reaching level 97 at your age can't be chalked up to mere talent. Your insights and abilities on the path of cultivation are astonishing. Xue'er needs a guide who can lead her beyond convention to higher realms. At the moment, you're the most suitable candidate I see." Yu Qing fell silent, fingers tapping an invisible table as he weighed the offer. After a long moment, he looked sharply at Douluo. "I can take your granddaughter as a disciple, but I have one condition. That is my bottom line. My teaching methods, including the core theories of spirit evolution and the techniques for absorbing spirit rings beyond the limit, are the highest secrets of the yin-yang sect and must never be revealed to anyone, including you. After she completes her training, she may return to Spirit Hall, but she must remain completely silent about the specific processes of her cultivation." Daolu's brow tightened. The condition was harsh. It meant he would not be able to learn the details of his granddaughter's growth. The mental space seemed to freeze for a few seconds. Finally, he smoothed his brow and spoke solemnly. "Fine. I agree. I swear by the angel god that I will never proactively ask Xue'er for any specific details regarding the methods you teach, the process of spirit evolution, or the theoretical workings of absorbing spirit rings beyond the limit." A hint of surprise flashed in Yu Qing's eyes at how readily the Spirit Hall High Priest swore by a divinity. His understanding of Daoluo had come from the original work, which described him as gentlemanly and honorable. Seeing him now, Daoluo certainly lived up to that reputation. The bold trust pleased Yu Qing. "When will you send your granddaughter?" he asked. "I'll need some time to make arrangements," Daoluo replied. "Very well," Yu Qing said. "I'll wait." As his voice faded, the golden mental space receded like a tide. Yu Qing's consciousness snapped back into reality. He was still sitting firmly in the spectator stands, as if everything that had happened had been nothing but a brief illusion. He glanced to the corner where Daoluo had been, but it was empty. A playful smile curved his lips and his mind became lively. He thought, "Heh, interesting. Taking the little angel from the original work as a disciple. This will be fun. Let's see how the future Cheat King Tang San handles a fully enhanced god of angels personally trained by me." Time sped by amid intense matches. 2 days flew past, and the first round of the core matches concluded. The upper 3 sects, those with the deepest foundations, remained unbeaten. Among the lower 4 sects, only the White Tiger sect and the Windsword sect barely kept clean records. Even established powers like the Sacred Dragon sect lost a match, and most of the rest suffered more defeats than wins. During this period, Zirui and Purple Pearl focused on the Clear Sky sect and the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon sect's Spirit Saints. Although those Spirit Saints held back, not using their trump cards such as the Clear Sky 9 Absolutes or more advanced dragon transformations, they still won easily by virtue of their overwhelming spirit and spirit power. Their strength could not be underestimated. After a day's rest, the second round began. Zirui and Purple Pearl were scheduled 7th and 11th, respectively. Their opponents were the White Tiger sect and the Sacred Dragon sect, both difficult matchups. First up was Zirui, who faced Dai Tianhong of the White Tiger sect. The White Tiger spirit was famed for fierce offense and killing intent. Its aggressiveness was a nightmare for control and defense system spirit masters. White Tiger sect, Dai Tianhong, White Tiger Spirit, level 75 Battle Spirit Saint, please advise. Dai Tianhong's voice boomed like a bell, eyes sharp and aggressive. Yin Yang Sect, Zirui, level 77 Control System Spirit Saint, please. Zirui's tone was gentle and composed, but her eyes were focused. The starting bell rang and Dai Tianhong exploded into action. He knew that against a Control System Spirit Master, he had to strike quickly. His 3rd and 5th Spirit Rings flared simultaneously. 3rd Spirit Ability, White Tiger Vajra Transformation. 5th Spirit Ability, White Tiger Demon God Transformation. In an instant, his body ballooned, muscles swelling and height soaring nearly 5 meters. He became a Platinum Tiger Giant warrior, radiating terrifying, killing aura. The clear king mark on his forehead flashed fiercely, and a violent aura swept the arena. With a deafening roar, he charged like a living cannonball, sharp claws tearing the air. Fifth spirit ability, Starlock Confinement. Zirui reacted with remarkable speed. Her fifth spirit ring lit, and countless star-bright purple-gold vines surged from the ground and air like giant pythons, weaving into a massive net that shot toward Dai Tianhong. His charge was stalled, but his strength was enormous. He roared, slashing his claws, and the violent killing aura shredded the tough nebula purple emperor vines. At the same time, he spat out a blazing wave of light. Second spirit ability, White Tiger Light Wave. Zirui's vines quickly fused into a shield to block the beam, but Dai Tianhong's assault came in rapid sequence. He followed up immediately, his sixth spirit ring flaring with dazzling light. Sixth soul skill, White Tiger Annihilation Kill, a terrifying energy claw, dark gold and solid, condensed on his right paw. His entire body became a streak of dark gold light that tore through space with extreme speed and power, stabbing straight for Zirui's vital points. The strike held enough power and penetration to maim or even kill a spirit saint of equal level. A trace of solemnity finally crossed Zirui's delicate face. She had not expected such a desperate, rapid burst of spirit abilities. As the dark gold attack bore down, an arcane azure pattern flared on her forehead and expanded into the phantom of a dreamy blue crystal coronet, the head spirit bone she had refined. Spirit bone skill, Illusion Space. Instantly, an invisible mental fluctuation radiated out from Zirui. One heartbeat before Dai Tianhong's annihilation kill would have struck, his figure and the dark gold stream of light vanished from the arena, as if erased. Only Zirui stood on the field. The arena's barrier trembled violently. Inside, deafening tiger roars, the booming collisions of spirit abilities, and even the unique fluctuations of a martial soul true body's eruption could be faintly heard, as if an invisible battlefield raged within an enclosed pocket of illusion. The audience was stunned. Only a few powerful individuals and those with keen perception realized Dai Tianhong had been drawn into an illusion space formed by mental force. Minutes stretched. The strange sounds from the arena grew more intense. Angry roars, explosive clashes of spirit power. Half an hour passed. Then, with a soft pop like a bursting bubble, the twisted space collapsed, and Dai Tianhong reappeared on the arena. He was a wreck. His martial soul true body had been dispelled. His clothes were tattered, his body lacerated and bleeding. His chest and arms were the worst. His aura was feeble, and he collapsed to the ground, sinking into a deep coma. Most terrifyingly, when experienced healing spirit masters examined him, they found that many of Dai Tianhong's serious wounds were suffused with dense white tiger spirit power, as if inflicted by his own abilities. Yin-Yang Sect, Zirui, wins, the referee announced, his voice trembling slightly. Zirui let out a quiet sigh as the phantom spirit bone on her forehead faded. She stepped down gracefully and returned to Yu Qing's side, her face flushed with embarrassment. Clinging to his arm, she pouted. "Husband, I was careless. I didn't expect the White Tiger Sect's spirit saint to unleash such a powerful combination. I almost lost." Yu Qing patted her hand to reassure her. These long-established top sects have deep foundations and hidden combination skills. Learn from this, be fully alert in every match, and never underestimate your opponents. Don't worry, husband." Purple Pearl drew close and raised her small fist. "My sister and I will go all out and won't give them another chance." Watching his two beautiful wives promise so earnestly, Yu Qing smiled and turned his gaze back to the arena. 158. A dragon emerging from the sea and a sweet reward. The competition reached the 11th match. While the crowd was still buzzing over Zirui's strange and powerful head spirit bone technique, another beauty from the Yin-Yang sect stepped onto the stage. "It's my turn, husband. Wait and cheer for me." Purple Pearl released her tight hold on Yu Qing's arm and winked at him. She moved like a streak of purple light and landed lightly in the center of the arena. Her opponent was a spirit saint from the Sacred Dragon sect, Tuoba Hong. Tuoba Hong was a rank 74 attack-type battle spirit saint. His spirit was the white-armored earth dragon, a potent sub-dragon spirit with exceptional defense and great strength. In terms of bloodline, it was closely related to a true dragon and naturally suppressed many beast spirits. In previous matches, he had used those advantages to leave many opponents helpless, performing impressively. But today he faced Purple Pearl, an evolved spirit saint with the sea dragon bloodline, who had also been tempered by yin-yang power through multiple dual cultivation sessions with Qing. Sacred Dragon Sect, Tuoba Hong. Spirit, White Armored Earth Dragon. Rank 74 Battle Spirit Saint. Please advise, Tuoba Hong announced loudly, carrying the proud bearing of a dragon-type spirit. He regarded Purple Pearl warily, though his gaze still held the Sacred Dragon Sect's usual sense of superiority. In his view, aside from top-tier existences like the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon, most dragon and sub-dragon spirits struggled to contend with the White Armored Earth Dragon. Purple Pearl smiled sweetly. Yin-Yang Sect, Purple Pearl. Rank 76 Control-Type Battle Spirit Saint. Please take care of me. Her voice had a magnetic, casual ease, as if the match were an entertaining game, rather than a deadly contest. At the referee's command, the battle erupted. Unlike her measured approach against the Black Tiger Sect, Purple Pearl attacked aggressively from the start. Knowing how dangerous the Sacred Dragon Sect's spirit could be, she aimed to finish things quickly and deny Tuoba Hong any breathing room. 7th Soul Skill, Martial Soul True Body. Accompanied by a clear sea dragon cry, Purple Pearl's form was bathed in brilliant purple light. In an instant, a beautiful sea dragon materialized on the arena, a graceful, slender body covered in crystalline purple scales, small jade horns crowning its head, misty moonlight and vapor swirling around it. The evolved Purple Moon Sea Dragon true body looked nearer to a true dragon, majestic and mysterious. Even Tuoba Hong's White Armored Earth Dragon felt a faint, hidden tremor at its presence. Even more startling, when the Purple Moon Sea Dragon appeared, a sweet, refreshing exotic scent like an invisible tide swept the arena. At first it invigorated the senses, but in excess it slowed spirit power circulation and clouded the mind. This was the Purple Moon Phantom poison inherent to the Purple Moon Sea Dragon. Tuoba Hong's expression shifted. He held his breath and circulated his spirit power to resist the poison, and cautious, he also activated his Martial Soul True Body. 7th Soul Skill, Martial Soul True Body, White Armored Earth Dragon. Boom! A massive earth dragon armored in thick white bone exploded into existence, roaring thunderously. Though imposing before the elegant and mysterious Purple Moon Sea Dragon, its aura was half suppressed. Roar! Tuoba Hong launched his attack. The white armored earth dragon charged with crushing force, claws rending the air. The Purple Moon Sea Dragon moved with uncanny agility as if swimming through water, evading the frontal assault. Its slender tail swept like a battering wave, while it opened its mouth and spat a thick purple mist that formed highly corrosive water arrows to strike from all directions. 5th Soul Skill, Earth Dragon Shockwave, Tuoba Hong roared in counter. 4th Soul Skill, White Armor Guard. They traded attack and defense, powerful spirit abilities clashing, bone armor tanking blows. Purple and white light collided in a dazzling melee, dragon cries and sea dragon calls never ceasing. Energy rippled against the arena barrier. The scene was intense, but to anyone watching closely, the advantage was clear. Purple Pearl held the initiative. Her strikes were more flexible and varied, and the constant erosion of the poison steadily weakened Tuoba Hong. A prolonged defense would eventually fail. Tuoba Hong knew he couldn't drag it out. A fierce light flared in his eyes as he resolved to break the stalemate with his strongest attack. 6th Soul Skill, White Dragon Break. His 6th soul ring glowed. A sphere of highly compressed white energy condensed in the mouth of the white armored earth dragon true body, emitting a destructive aura. It fired as a white beam that tore through the sky straight at Purple Pearl, consuming more than half his spirit power, enough to pierce mountains. But at the moment his attack reached full force and his concentration peaked, Purple Pearl countered. 6th Soul Skill, Moon Scale Celestial Sculpture. Scales along the Purple Moon Sea Dragon's body burst into cold, clear moonlight. The glow didn't strike like an assault. It rolled across the arena like a gentle tide. Tuoba Hong felt his taut spirit relax as if soaked in warm spring water. A sudden, indescribable comfort and dulled awareness hit him. His control of spirit power and perception lagged. That fatal relaxation allowed the Purple Moon Phantom poison to flood his system. Not good. Alarm bells rang in Tuoba Hong's mind, but it was too late. Weakness washed over him. Spirit power faltered. His mind dulled. Negative statuses stacked instantaneously. The white dragon break beam lost power from his unstable control. Its light dimmed. Purple Pearl's moon-scale celestial sculpture shifted from mental interference to physical assault, countless razor-sharp moonlight scales. Like a storm, they smashed the already weakened white dragon break and then struck the white-armored earth dragon true body. Bang! Crack after crack ran through the thick bone armor. Tuoba Hong's massive true body was driven back, battered by the impact. With a final unwilling roar, he was blown out of the arena, crashing hard to the ground. He reverted to human form, wretched and clearly incapable of continuing. The entire exchange had seemed dramatic, but from the activation of moon-scale celestial sculpture to the end, only a few breaths had passed. There was a stunned pause in the audience, then an outburst. "It's over already? Tuoba Hong lost just like that? Why did his white dragon break feel so weak? It's that moonlight. There's something wrong with that moonlight. It makes people let their guard down, and the poison takes advantage. What a strange and overwhelming spirit ability. This Purple Pearl is even worse than we thought." An elder from the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon sect swore under his breath, displeased. What a waste. Such a good spirit gone to waste. He was unhappy with Tuoba Hong's quick defeat and even more wary of Purple Pearl's strength. The referee recovered and announced loudly, 11th match winner, Yin Yang Sect, Purple Pearl. Purple Pearl deactivated her martial soul true body and returned to human form, an easy smile on her face as if she'd only been warming up. She walked back to Yu Qing's side and raised her chin proudly. "How was that, husband?" "I won beautifully." Yu Qing smiled and pinched her cheek. "Beautiful, but don't be so reckless next time. What if the opponent can resist mental interference?" "I know." Purple Pearl stuck out her tongue playfully. "But it's more exciting this way." Yu Qing watched the following matches with the two women. The Spirit Saints from the Clear Sky sect and the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon sect continued to win with ease, but they still held back. Their trump cards and true killing moves hadn't been revealed. It was clear they were saving their strength for the high-stakes final rounds. On the way back to the Yin Yang sect's resting area, Yu Qing said, "You'll definitely face tough fights. The Clear Sky sect's disorder-splitting Windhammer method and Clear Sky 9 absolutes, and the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon sect's Dragon Transformation secret technique haven't shown themselves yet." Zirui smiled and took Yu Qing's other arm, her eyes steady. "Don't worry, husband. Today had surprises, but it also revealed their fighting styles. If they play all their trump cards, I'm confident I can contend with them." "Exactly." Purple Pearl leaned in, her eyes alight with battle fire. "It's only fun to face the strong. If everything were as easy as today, how boring would that be? Husband, just wait. Watch us show off." Yu Qing nodded at his two confident wives, his heart filling with anticipation. Purple Pearl laughed mischievously and hugged him tighter, her breath warm at his ear. "Then listen, we've worked so hard. Tonight, shouldn't you belong to us?" Yu Qing felt the pressure and the tickle by his ear. His face warmed, but he feigned composure and cleared his throat. "Ahem, wait until you've secured all the victories in the mid-tier matches. Then it's a deal." Purple Pearl beamed as if victory were already certain. A gentleman's word is his bond. Zirui watched their banter with a helpless, indulgent smile. Like Purple Pearl, she too anticipated the promised reward. Though deferred for the moment, Yu Qing would not neglect his merits. Back in the resting area, he personally prepared a feast from the precious ingredients he had brought, dishes that were beautiful, savory, and rich in pure energy, rewarding Zirui and Purple Pearl handsomely. The three of them ate together, chatting about the day's highlights in a warm, harmonious atmosphere. But peaceful moments are short. The mid-tier matches continued. In the fourth round, Zirui and Purple Pearl again defeated their opponents with ease, adding more wins for the Yin Yang sect. When the draw for the final round appeared, every eye turned to the results. Zirui versus a Spirit Saint from the Seven Treasure Glazed Tile School. Purple Pearl versus Spirit Saint from the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon sect. The draw quickly decided the match order. Zirui's fight came up early. She nodded to Yu Qing and Purple Pearl, then glided onto the vast dark gold arena with light, graceful steps. Her opponent was a Spirit Saint of the Seven Treasure Glazed Tile School, Ningfeng An. Yin Yang Sect, Zirui, rank 77, Control System Spirit Saint, the announcer called. Zirui bowed slightly. every movement precise. Ningfengan, a steady middle-aged man, summoned his spirit, a translucent white longsword patterned faintly with flowing dragons. When the sword appeared, it let out a clear, resonant dragon cry, no ordinary weapon. He cupped his hands toward Zirui and spoke earnestly. 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School, Ningfengan, Rank 76, Attack System Battle Spirit Saint. Spirit, Dragon Cry Sword, please teach me. His humility, no arrogance about his sect, earned Zirui's approval. She inclined her head. Very well, I will take this seriously. She drew a breath and spirit power surged. A vast, noble, mysterious plant phantom unfolded behind her, the nebula purple emperor vine. Its vines weren't simply purple, they looked as if a starry sky had been condensed into living tendrils. Countless pinpricks of starlight glittered along them, appearing to flow, live and die, radiating a profound, ancient aura. When the nebula purple emperor vine manifested, starlit vine phantoms spread outward from Zirui like ripples, blanketing the entire arena in moments. The arena's dark gold surface was transformed into a dreamlike purple-gold starfield. Star Domain, Zirui whispered. In an instant, the arena's space altered, forming a small world centered on her. Inside the domain, star power grew so dense it felt almost tangible. Motes of starlight flickered like living spirits. Ningfengan felt trapped in a quagmire. His movements slowed, his spirit power circulation became painfully sluggish, and an invisible crushing pressure bore in on him from every side. That? A domain? A cardinal from Spirit Hall in the VIP stands shouted, springing to his feet in shock. The former Supreme Pontiff, Qianjunji, unable to remain seated, muttered in disbelief. A domain, something most titled Douluo dreamt of but never achieved. Bibi Dong, seated on the Supreme Pontiff's throne, had a sharp light in her purple eyes as she stared at Zirui. Her heart stirred. A domain. And evolved. Qing's power. I'll have to contact him. Even a spirit saint from the Clear Sky sect, usually arrogant, watched with burning battle intent softened by regret. What a pity. The rules keep me from fighting her. A spirit saint with a domain is truly an opponent worth meeting. On the arena, the difference was brutal. Ningfengan felt as though he carried a mountain on his back. Each swing of the Dragon Cry sword was agonizing. The star domain suppressed his spirit abilities, cutting their power by more than half. His once brilliant sword light dimmed, his speed crawled. Zirui, empowered by the domain, needed few flashy techniques. She simply manipulated star power to weave starlight chains and star barriers that easily neutralized Ningfengan's attacks. After dozens of fruitless exchanges, Ningfengan was drenched in sweat and severely depleted, yet he hadn't so much as brushed Zirui's robes. He gave a bitter laugh, sheathed his sword, and raised his voice to the referee. Referee, I concede. The gap was simply too great. A spirit saint with a domain was overwhelming to a same-rank spirit master without one. The referee, recovering from his own astonishment, announced, Match decided. Winner, Yin-Yang Sect, Zirui. In the stands, Ningfengji, sect master of the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School, watched Zirui like a star goddess. Seeing her use the star domain ignited a fierce desire in him to break the shackles that bound the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile Pagoda. He turned to Sword Dochenchin beside him, voice trembling. Uncle John, do you think... Sect Master Yu truly has no way to evolve the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile Pagoda? Chenchin's arms were folded, and his gaze remained fixed on the arena. After a long moment, he answered simply, He does. Those words hit Ningfengji like a hammer. Then why didn't he tell me? If the pagoda can evolve, even to 8 treasures, I'll pay any price. Anything. Chenchin finally looked at him, calm and deep. Fengji, he may have a method, but the price would be beyond your imagining. Remember the immortal grade herbs he mentioned? Those could be the key. Immortal herbs are rare, encountered by chance, not something you can hunt down. Ningfengji's face soured. Of course, how could they be easy to find? You're impatient, Chenchin said. I understand your desire to evolve your spirit, but you shouldn't rush, and you mustn't become obsessed with it. A look of dawning comprehension crossed Ningfengji's face. You mean let our Ning family's younger generation? Chenchin nodded, saying no more. Ningfengji fell into silent thought, his eyes growing distant. With Zirui's match over the air crackled with anticipation, the real highlight of the day was next. Purple Pearl, wielder of a sea dragon spirit, against Yu Luofeng, bearer of the world's top beast spirit, the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon. Yin Yang Sect, Purple Pearl, rank 76, Control System Battle Spirit Saint. Purple Pearl bounded into the arena, her ponytail flicking. She looked valiant, eyes bright with excitement and sharp battle intent. Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon Sect, Yu Luofeng, rank 76, Attack System Battle Spirit Saint. Yu Luofeng's voice was low and proud, the arrogance of a dragon-type spirit in every syllable. He stared at Purple Pearl with evaluation and an unhidden thirst for challenge. The referee barely finished announcing the start before both surged at once. Seventh Soul Skill, Martial Soul True Body, they shouted together. Boom, boom, the arena shook with dragon cries and sea dragon roars. One side manifested an elegant sea dragon of purple crystal, woven with moonlight and mist, the other a savage blue dragon crackling with violent lightning. Two opposing dragon auras clashed, instantly washing the arena in blue and purple. On one side, a lightning prison where thunder ravaged, on the other, a purple sea full of poisonous mist. The extremes collided, spitting sizzling explosions and forming an eerie balance. Sixth Soul Skill, Blue Lightning Thunder Dragon Blast. Yu Luofeng struck first. His dragon maw opened and a condensed breath of thunder dragon energy surged forth. Sixth Soul Skill, Moon Scale Heavenly Mold. Purple Pearl answered. Her moonlit sea dragon body erupted, raining down moon-bright scales imbued with mental shock and icy poison like a storm against the thunder blast. The explosion rocked the stands. The shockwave jarred the reinforced barrier. The light was blinding. The initial exchange ended in a draw. Both were proud fighters. When the first clash failed to decide anything, they escalated, hurling powerful spirit abilities at each other as though without cost. Thunderous Might, Thunder Dragon, rending the heavens, surging Poison Tide, Sea Dragon Tail Whip. The arena filled with brilliant flashes and booming impacts. The crowd roared as the duel reached fever pitch. Yu Luofeng then unleashed the secret of the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon Sect, Dragon Transformation. His limbs became brutal dragon claws, his torso armored in scales, and lightning tightened into a more violent, tangible force. His attack, speed, and defense all surged. For a moment, his power neared that of an elementary spirit Douluo. Ha! Magnificent! Let's see how many hits you can take. Yu Luofeng laughed, launching an onslaught of lightning that struck like divine punishment. Purple Pearl, though under tremendous pressure, responded with discipline. Her purple moon sea dragon true body darted and dodged, avoiding lethal blows while releasing poisonous mist and mental interference to harry Yu Luofeng. What stunned him most was her endless-looking spirit power. She used 5th and 6th soul skills repeatedly, as if they were cheap, short-term techniques. The fight dragged on, nearly the time it takes an incense stick to burn, and Yu Luofeng felt his spirit power sinking. His breathing grew heavy. Maintaining dragon transformation strained him more and more. Meanwhile, Purple Pearl remained energetic. She even flicked her forked sea dragon tongue at him in mockery. How could he know that the soul power compression method Qing had taught Purple Pearl had let her condense and store spirit power far beyond normal limits for her rank? Her total spirit power and condensation level were far higher than expected. A war of attrition favored her, and she and Qing's group thrived in just such contests. As the scales tipped, Yu Luofeng's blows weakened and openings multiplied. Under a dense barrage of moon-scale heavenly mold and the twin sting of purple moon phantom poison, his spirit power finally collapsed. Dragon transformation faltered and dissipated. His blue lightning tyrant dragon true body vanished. He dropped to one knee, face pale and panting. He looked up at Purple Pearl, still poised and radiant, with unwillingness, shock, and a bitter edge in his eyes. He ground out, "I concede." A spirit saint of the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon Sect, worn down by attrition, humiliating. The referee inhaled and proclaimed, "Final result. Winner, Yin Yang Sect, Purple Pearl." The mid-tier strength round had come to an end. When the Spirit Hall Elder announced the final standings, the results were both expected and the source of much private anxiety. The Clear Sky Sect and the Yin Yang Sect, those two monstrous powers, had once again gone undefeated, sweeping 60 points and sharing first and second place, looking down on everyone else. The Seven Treasure Glazed Tile School placed third with steady performance. The most precarious position belonged to the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon sect. Although they finished fourth, they were only 2 points ahead of the fifth-place White Tiger sect. That meant that in the upcoming top-tier combat round, Spirit Douluo level, and the Sect Master round, titled Douluo level, a single mishap could cost the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon sect their centuries-old place among the upper three. That pressure hung like a razor over Sect Master Yu and every member of his sect. One could already predict they would throw everything they had into the next fights. Glory and the future of the sect depended on it. After the rankings, the Spirit Hall Elder announced arrangements for the top-tier combat round. It would be held in 6 days. Because all participants were Spirit Douluo, the aftershocks of their fights would be terrifying, so the venue would be moved to a specially built arena on the outskirts of Spirit City with reinforced barrier protection. News of the schedule sent every faction into intense preparation. Inside the Yin-Yang sect's private quarters, however, another kind of commotion was underway. Qing had kept his promise and rewarded Zirui and Purple Pearl handsomely for their performances. The rewarding had lasted from the night the competition ended until late the following night. Its intensity rivaled any duel between spirit saints. When Qing finally stepped out, he looked refreshed, but there was a faint exhaustion at the corners of his eyes and in the set of his shoulders. "Sigh," he said, rubbing his slightly sore waist and trying to appear dignified. "This kind of reward is a wonderful way to wear yourself out." He summoned the 2 representatives who would go to the top-tier combat round, Duan Xin and Feng Lingyan. Duan Xin bounced into the room, energetic as ever, chest puffed out and utterly pleased with herself. "Husband, you called?" she crowed, striking a proud pose that plainly read, "Praise me." "Are we talking about the top-tier combat round?" "Don't worry, I've been itching to show off." Qing smiled at his battle-crazed wife with helpless affection. "Senior, are you sure you want to participate? Those are Spirit Douluo-level fights. None of the opponents will be easy." "Of course I'm sure." Duan Xin pumped a small fist, eyes alight with the flames of battle. "I'm going to be the coolest contestant in the arena. No, the coolest female war god. I'll make everyone see the power of my Flame Queen title." Seeing she was unpersuadable, Qing switched to practical instructions. "All right, then promise me you'll be careful. Winning isn't everything. Your life is. If the situation gets bad, don't force it. There's no shame in retreating, and—" He leaned closer and lowered his voice. "If it comes down to it, you can use the Ember Dragon, but don't reveal it as a spirit soul. Tell them it's a last resort trump card I gave you." "Hey, got it, husband. You're such a worrywart." Duan Xin feigned annoyance but was all sweetness. She leaned in and planted a kiss on his cheek. "Don't worry, I'll win in style." Qing next turned to Feng Lingyan, who stood composed and steady. "Lingyan," he said, "rest assured, Sect Master, I will not bring shame to the Yin-Yang sect." Feng Lingyan bowed immediately and spoke with firm resolve. Qing acknowledged her, then grew serious. "I am clear on your strength. As a rank 87 Spirit Douluo, plus that 80,000-year rapid advance wind-chasing left leg bone, your chances against the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon sect are not small. But," he hesitated, face grave, "if the draw puts you against the Clear Sky sect, especially if their participant is Tang Hao, I want you to forfeit." "Why?" Feng Lingyan's pretty face showed surprise and a trace of reluctance. She had confidence in her speed. Even if she couldn't beat him outright, she'd thought she could outmaneuver him. Qing sighed and explained. "Tang Hao is no ordinary genius. The Clear Sky sect hasn't seen his like in a century. He once seriously wounded a Titan giant ape while at Spirit Douluo level. He has perfected the Clear Sky 9 absolutes, and more importantly, holds their most domineering secret technique, the ring explosion. When he uses it, his burst of combat power in a short period can rival, even surpass, an ordinary titled Douluo. Your speed is magnificent, but against that kind of overwhelming strength and desperate fighting style, the risk is too great." After hearing him out, Feng Lingyan, though unwilling, understood he was protecting her. She bit her lip and finally bowed her head. "Yes, Sect Master. If I face the Clear Sky sect, I will forfeit." Qing was about to offer more comfort when Aru glided in. With an odd expression, she leaned over and whispered, "A Qing, someone's here to see you." "Who?" Yu Qing was puzzled. At this hour, who would come to visit? Everyone else should be preparing for the next round. Aru glanced toward the living room and murmured, "It's Bibi Dong." Bibi Dong? Yu Qing's eyebrows rose. The infamous antagonist from the old tales, now Supreme Pontiff of the Spirit Hall, was here to see him in private? What could that woman possibly want? Spirit evolutions? Over-limit spirit ring absorption? He followed Aru into the living room, wary. On the sofa sat a figure in a dark robe that still couldn't conceal her elegant form. Even without the hood, her bearing was that of a high-ranking ruler. Yu Qing sat across from her. "Her Holiness, the Supreme Pontiff, honors us. May I ask the nature of your visit?" he asked plainly. The woman removed her hood, revealing a world-stopping beauty edged with cool authority. Bibi Dong's deep purple eyes were like whirlpools, reading him as if trying to see into his soul. After a long moment she spoke, her voice cold and composed. "Sectmaster Yu, forgive the intrusion. I have come to make a deal." "A deal?" Yu Qing raised an eyebrow. "Go on." She inhaled, steeling herself, and looked him directly in the eyes. "I want the method you possess that allows a spirit to evolve. In return, I will pay an appropriate price." So she was really here for that. Yu Qing let a show of surprise cross his face before smiling. "Her Holiness must be jesting. Your spirits are already world-class spider-type spirits, top quality and deep in potential, so advanced they're near the peak. My crude theories likely won't work on them." Bibi Dong shook her head calmly, her tone carrying the absolute authority of her office. "You don't understand. I am not asking for myself. I need your method to help someone else complete a spirit evolution." In an instant, Yu Qing understood. Of course, after all her scheming and obsessiveness, even as Supreme Pontiff, she still hadn't stopped thinking about that one person, Grandmaster Yu Xiaogong. Her devotion was almost comical. Yu Qing, however, had no affection for that arrogant Grandmaster. He masked his reaction and feigned curiosity. "For someone else, you say? What price is Her Holiness willing to pay?" Prepared for this moment, Bibi Dong produced a delicate white jade box from within her robe and set it on the coffee table. She opened it to reveal a small spatial spirit tool. "This contains my personal savings since I became Supreme Pontiff," she said. Her voice remained cold, but there was a faint, almost inaudible tremor of pain. 10 million gold coins, 3 10,000-year spirit bones, suitable for attack, agility attack, and defense systems, and several natural treasures I've collected that can increase spirit power and strengthen a spirit's foundation. The sum was enough to make any titled Douluo or large sect salivate, but Yu Qing merely scanned the contents with his mental force and shook his head, uninterested. "Her Holiness, thank you, but we do not lack these external resources." Bibi Dong's pupils tightened and her fingers dug into the armrest. She had expected that offering her savings, emptying much of her treasury, to secure the method would be persuasive. The casual rejection pricked her with humiliation and anxiety, but she forced it down. She bit her lower lip, steeled herself, and called softly toward the doorway. "Ling Yuan, come in." A striking figure entered, tall, curvaceous, dressed in vivid red. Her features were as fine as a painting, and her eyes held a fierce, agile wildness. Short, ear-length hair framed her face, lending her a heroic look. She bowed to Bibi Dong with a crisp voice of mild confusion. "Her Holiness, why did you summon me?" Bibi Dong looked at Ling Yuan with a complicated mix, guilt, reluctance, but it was replaced by a near-obsessive determination as she turned to Yu Qing and spoke deliberately. "Her name is Ling Yuan. Her spirit is a top-tier flying beast spirit, the blazing spirit owl. She is a rank 91 attack system titled Douluo. She is one of the confidants I have secretly cultivated over the years." Yu Qing and Aru were stunned. Ling Yuan's eyes widened, clearly not understanding the gravity of the moment. Then Bibi Dong said what left everyone in the room utterly speechless. "I will use her," Bibi Dong said, pointing at Ling Yuan, "in exchange for your spirit evolution method." A heavy, unnatural silence fell over the living room.